Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's 7 o'clock, March 3rd, 2022, and I call the Cupertino Parks and the Recreation Commission meeting to order. And let's start with a roll call, please. So Kevin, could you help?
Commissioner Stanek?
Here.
Commissioner Gopal?
Here.
Vice Chair Begor? Vice Chair, just once more, we didn't hear you. Oh, we can't hear you right now.
You cannot.
Oh, there we go. Perfect, just happened.
Okay.
And Chair Shu.
Here.
And it looks like for now, Commissioner Swamy is absent.
Okay. The first item is approval of meeting minutes of our last meeting. Are there any comments on the meeting minutes? I didn't see anyone raised hand. So we need a motion to approve it. So anyone would like to make a motion?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting on February 3rd, 2022.
And who is going to second it?
Second that.
Yeah. Okay. So we can start to vote to approve the meeting minutes.
Commissioner Stanek?
Yes.
Commissioner Gopal?
Yes.
Vice Chair Begor? Oop. Once more. Sorry, once more, Vice Chair. There we go.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay. And Chair Shu.
Yes.
Motion passes with 4 yes and 1 absent.
Okay. So next is oral communication part. And it's time for oral communication on any item that is not in today's meeting agenda. And we really welcome more community members to talk and help us to know what you need, what you hope to see in our city. That will help our work. And each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. I didn't see anyone raised hand. Okay, so if there's nobody want to talk, we go to the next item about the written communication. So are there any written communication?
Not received any.
Okay, so today there's no old business. We can start our new business. That's agenda number 2 to review fiscal year 2022 to 2023 community funding grant applications.
All right, 3 clicks and I'm finally unmuted. All right. Good evening, Chair and fellow commissioners. I'm Rochelle Sander, the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation. For complete transparency, I do need to ask if any commissioners have affiliations with any of the applicant organizations. Can you please let us know now? No? Okay. All right, tonight's meeting on community funding is for organizations to share specific information about their funding requests and for commissioners to ask clarifying questions. Commissioner evaluation discussion will happen at the April Parks and Rec meeting. Organizations in attendance, when I introduce your slide, please have your presenter raise their hand so we can promote you to speak. There will also be a 15-second warning when your 3 minutes are almost through. Tonight's process will include new applicants presenting first with the returning applicants after. Applicants will have 3 minutes to share their funding requests. Commissioners will then be able to ask clarifying questions. We are estimating a maximum of 10 minutes per organization. That does include the 3-minute presentation. Each slide has a brief overview of the organization's request and eligibility. An eligibility pending indicates that the commission needs to review the information for further consideration. Specifics of each organization's eligibility can be found in the eligibility criteria forms in Attachment C. I would like to begin by introducing Omniware Networks, who is requesting funding for a Peace, Love, Unity art contest.
Hi, can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. First of all, I very appreciate giving me this opportunity to introduce ourselves as well as our project. Omniware Networks is a small not-for-profit organization. However, we have a big mission. Our mission is to strengthen people connections, no matter who you are, what background you have, and what color of the skin you have. So we promote unity, peace, and diversity in our local communities, which is well aligned with Cupertino's value. What distinguishes Omniware from other organizations is that we are all volunteers, no matter whether it's board member, directors, or project managers. So every penny we have, we spend back to our local communities. And so far, we have very good track record of the impact. Next page, please. This year, we have a signature project, which is a children's art contest and exhibition to promote the value of peace, love, and unity to fight against the hate crime and the violence in our local communities, especially in nowadays, a lot of tension and the regional war in Ukraine and Russia. We believe it's well aligned with Cupertino's value. This project is sponsored by the County of Santa Clara Division of Equity and Social Justice. Next page, please. This project, the first part is the art contest. And we are already working with quite a few of the Cupertino art studios and art teachers, and then expect to receive more than 100 submissions from Cupertino children. Next page. And then after that, next page. After that, we are going to have the award ceremony as well as a road show of the public exhibitions in many different locations in Santa Clara. So we anticipate to have 5,000 to 6,000 visitors, which is very conservative estimate, and including 1,000 visitors from Cupertino. Next page, please. And we ask for $2,000 funding to help us to pay part of the exhibition cost, such as the exhibition materials. When we do the public exhibitions, the hardwares, the frames, the design of the posters, and the cardboard. We believe we can invest this money wisely to improve the professionalness of the exhibition, to deliver the message more effectively to the visitors. Next page, please. And here you can see a summary of the municipalities as well as the partners are working with us, such as Los Altos Hills, Los Altos History Museum, Saratoga, Sunnyvale, and we really hope that Cupertino can also join this team to work with us. Next page, please. And so far, we have already received very encouraging community feedback, including, San Jose, Cupertino, Sunnyvale, Mountain View. One of the example is from Don Song, who is the former Cupertino Planning Commissioner and the Historical Museum, Historical Society President. So thank you very much, and we hope you can consider us and give us a favorable decision. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your nice presentation. And I'm so glad to see such a great event in this special moment. We really need to promote peace and love. And thank you for organizing this. And before commissioners asking questions, I want to clarify that. So tonight is only for commissioners to ask a question, and all the discussion will be in our next meeting. And because we have many applicants waiting here, we hope to limit the time for each application only 10 minutes. So maybe we have 7 or 8 minutes per hour to ask a question. Yeah, we can start. I see Commissioner Stanek.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. One question I had from your presentation materials, you said that you have a grant from the Santa Clara County. Could you let us know how much that grant is for?
Yeah, that grant is $2,500.
Thank you very much. That's all.
So next one is Vice Chair Vigor. Can you start? Yeah.
I had a quick question. Thank you again for your presentation. I had a quick question with regard to the display. Where will you be displaying this, or is it just through a roadshow?
Oh, the display is going to happen in quite a few locations. The first one is the award ceremony. Currently, we have several locations in consideration, and we are going to finalize one of them. That is either the Santa Clara County office or the Los Altos Hills Town Hall. And then after that, the exhibition will be in Saratoga Library for 2 months for June and July, and September to October 2 months in Los Altos History Museum, which is going to be both a physical exhibition as well as an online virtual exhibition. And then the November and the December will be Sunnyvale Library. And the next year's February will be Palo Alto Library. And for the month of August, currently it's still working in progress. We're talking to some of the organizations in Cupertino right now, including Cupertino Library or the Cupertino History Museum.
Thank you. That's very detailed.
So next, Gaopao, you can ask a question.
Thank you. I was on mute. So thanks, I think Judy, the speaker, so it's great. I think good to see a good detailed presentation on it. My question is, have you ever done other projects like this, or this is the first time ever your Omniware network starting these kind of projects? What is the prior, any other projects you have done it? Because we haven't seen you in this asking for it, and just wanted to understand.
Yeah, it's a very good question. In the past, we have done projects with a similar purpose. However, we have been targeting adults in our local communities, such as organizing on conversations, organizing on cultural celebration events. And this year is our first year to target children, because we believe peace, love, and unity, if we can plant the seed in children's heart, it can generate a sustainable impact and can get much bigger community impact and attractions to this.
Okay, great. And you talked about it's a Santa Clara County. I forgot. I know I don't have the slide exactly in front of me. Kevin or somebody, if you could move back onto it, 1 or 2 slides back. I think the first slide, I believe, or the second. It talks about it is sponsored by Santa Clara County. Division of Equity. Sorry, if we go back. Division of Equity and Social Justice. So is it similar projects are being done by the county at a big scale, and you're participating as part of it, or I'm trying to understand
it's a very good question.
What does it mean?
Yeah, it's a very good question. The division office of the county, they have a big objective to promote justice, social justice. However, they want us to submit the proposal. So we submitted our project proposal like this, the Children's Art Contest and Exhibition. And to pass their criteria, they love this project so much, and they give us the funding.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much. That's all my questions, Chair.
So I have a question regarding how many community members may be benefited from this program. So as you mentioned, you estimate there may be 5,000 people and 1,000 from Cupertino. So I want to know, based on what kind of information you get this estimate, because it's the first time you said it's the first time to organize such art exhibition for children.
Yeah, it's a very good question. First of all, I want to say it's a very conservative assumption. The reason for us to put this number here is, first of all, we know several teachers are already working with us in Cupertino, and we know the size of their studios, how many students are participating, and we believe those participating students, they will visit those art contests, these art exhibitions with their family members and their friends. And the other part is, hey, on the daily visitors to those libraries or the museums, we know the number, and we say, hey, only if 10% of the daily visitors come to see our artwork and leave some of the comments there, that would be the number we have. So it's a very conservative number of 1,000 from Cupertino.
Thank you for your explanation. Are there any more questions? I didn't see. So we're going to go to the next applicant. And I just want to clarify. So if there's any community member want to have any comments, we'll give you a chance at the end of all these questions. Yeah, after all the presentation. Okay.
I think you're on mute, Rachel. We couldn't hear you.
Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. Just trying to make sure I make that mistake early. I would like to introduce the Palisados Foundation, who is requesting money for Calico Challenge SF. I did not receive a response for them. So if any of the attendees are here for this foundation, can you please raise your hand?
Yeah, didn't see anyone raise hand.
Then we will move forward. And I would like to introduce the American Cancer Society, who is requesting money for Relay for Life of Silicon Valley North. Gail, are you able to speak?
Unmute.
Presentation. It's not showing her muted, but I'm not hearing her.
If there's any difficulty, maybe we can jump to the next applicant and then wait for her to be ready and go back.
Yeah, Gail, I don't know if you want to try and log in again and maybe raise your hand when you're back and we can come back to you. Okay, let's move on. I would like to introduce STEM Boost Corporation, who is requesting money for a STEM Boost summer workshop.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So can I just start whenever?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Hi, my name is Iona Sia, and I'm currently a vice president of STEM Boost, as well as a junior at Monte Vista High School. And so STEM Boost is a nonprofit organization that was initiated and ran by high schoolers of local schools. And throughout the years, our goals for our organization has always been aimed at helping to educate our local middle and elementary school students in specific topics within the STEM fields to allow them for a variety of knowledge. So we've been able to do this by conducting workshops instructed by our volunteers during the fall, spring, and summer. And these include various topics that cover a full range of knowledge, including rather niche topics that could help our students to learn more about topics that they may have been interested but have never gotten the chance to learn further in school. Can we go to the next slide? And so in the past few years, we've been able to donate the money that we've raised from these workshops to the Valley Medical Center Hospital Foundation to help with COVID relief. And we've also hosted Science Olympiad Invitationals, including the annual Kennedy Invitationals and STEM Boost Invitationals, where teams from all over the country compete. A large number of teams compete every year, including 72 teams from 10 states that participated in our third annual STEM Boost Invitational this January, and volunteers have helped to proctor and write tests. Volunteers have also helped to mentor the 6 nationally acclaimed Kennedy Middle School Science Olympia teams to study and gain success in competitions by holding meetings and compiling study guides for these middle schoolers. Next slide. So for our funding breakdown, we would like a total of $4,000. Because the past few years have been online, we haven't really needed a lot of money, but because we want to start having in-person tournaments and as well as workshops, we would need money to be able to do so, including $2,500 for facility rental and services for workshops and for tournaments. And then we would also like $1,000 for workshop handouts and materials for hands-on experiments. And this could help to make our workshops both more engaging and to help ease the stress of workshop volunteers. And in addition, with this money, we can be able to make these workshops free, and which will be able to allow a lot of underprivileged students to be able to attend these workshops and learn more. And then we would also like $500 for projectors, speakers, and banners.
15 seconds.
The next slide. So thank you a lot for giving us this opportunity, and I'm open for any questions.
Nina, I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry, I forgot unmute. And thank you for the presentation. Good to see such creative job from the students, your own organization. And I see Vice Chair Begar has question for this.
Yeah, thank you, Iona, for your presentation. I have a quick question. Am I seeing something incorrectly, or is your request amount 4K as opposed to 8K on the application?
Oh yeah, we've changed it to 4K.
Okay, that's well, good. There's more for others. This will be I have a second question as well. In this program, is this specific to Cupertino, or is it open to all Bay Area students?
It's open to all Bay Area students, except because it'll be held in Cupertino, it's more accessible for Cupertino students.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all I had.
And Commissioner Kumar Pen.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Thanks, Anna, for the presentation. I think it's also very detailed. I got a few questions. Number one, you said last time when you ran similar programs, the beneficiary is that the other nonprofit organizations like Valley Fair, the other foundations and stuff. So is this time, do you plan to, looks like based on what I heard, that you need fund because on in-person, that means all these expenses will be spent on these materials and other expenses. But do you still have a goal to donate the funds you raise it to any other organization?
So our main goal this time is to be able to make these workshops free so that anyone can be able to access these. But if we do choose to gain some sort of profits, we'll definitely donate these.
Okay. That's good. So thank you. The other couple of questions have. Number two, you said it is open, and you also it's open for everyone. And since Cupertino students will be accessing it since it is here, you also mentioned underprivileged students. How do you plan to kind of give a preference, or do you have any mechanism for come first serve, or what is the way it is? Because if you're going to invite underprivileged students, I'm sure many people may come out of this Cupertino area as well.
Yeah.
In that case, what is your strategy of giving more options to them?
We would like to go probably directly to those areas in those schools and be able to have those workshops there or near that area, so then it'll be a lot more accessible for them.
Oh, so this workshop is not at just one place but it's a mobile kind of, so you can go to any specific place to do this one?
Yeah, like definitely we'll try to have some of the workshops be at underprivileged areas.
I see. Okay. And what is the strength that maybe I missed that? How many people last time similar programs you raised and you attended it on the summer program from?
So previously we've been able to raise upwards of like around $6,000 for the Valley Medical Center Hospital Foundation. So that's about like roughly about like 20 people per workshop, and we have around like 20 to 30 workshops.
20 people per workshop, 20 to 30. Oh, okay. That's a sizable number. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. That's pretty much my question.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stanek.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I think that last answer really clarified the question I was getting at, because you mentioned 30 to 40 workshops, and then I was going to ask how many per workshop. So if there's 20 students per workshop, if there's 30 or 40 workshops, so we're talking 600 to 800 students. Is that the right range of the number of students that could actually take advantage of this?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. So it's available to, all of, the middle schools and others, but you can accommodate really 600 to 800 if you do this many workshops. And so you anticipate that the workshops would be mostly at Kennedy, or do you have other sites already identified?
Currently trying to gain facilities at Kennedy is a little difficult, so we're trying to find places near Kennedy to hold these workshops.
Okay, so primarily in the Kennedy attendance area.
Right.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I have another question. Yeah, it seems we did a lot of math tonight, and this is another question about the number. So you said in your application package, it says you asked for 10K, and now it decreased to 4K. So can you let me know the breakdown information of how much the funds used for each item? So does that mean room rental money will be lower?
Yeah, so currently we're estimating about 2,500 for facilities, and yeah, thank you. So yeah, about 2,500 for facilities, and then 1,000 for any like hands-on experiments that any of like the instructors would need to be able to make their workshops more engaging and more interesting. And then we would like about $500 for projectors and speakers and banners. So these are basically like anything to make our workshops like a lot more functional.
Okay, got it. And thank you for your answer. And I just want to share some information what I know. As I heard, the Fremont Union High, their rental room is more cost friendly compared to CUSD. So maybe you can ask them, maybe you can get some good information.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's no more questions. So Commissioner Kumar-Pan, you have another question?
Yeah, so in general, maybe not necessarily specific to Diana, but the other projects as well. So if you see these discrepancies on what they originally requested and what they are currently asking, Rachel, maybe the question to you directly. Will these applications will be resubmitted for us before we do the final evaluation? Because right now it is on the presentation. I don't think that we will compare the presentation and the application. Hopefully the application will be resubmitted, or what is the process here in case the amounts are different?
You will get the applications again before the April meeting, so I will make the change if there is a difference in the application, so that you know that they're only asking for 4 instead of what was currently on there.
Yeah, that'll be great, because the split based on, I'm just looking at the application, the split is based on the 8K now, but the presentation has a completely different split, and it'll be good for us to understand where the money is going, what way we're doing it, I think it'll be helpful. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Okay, I am going to go back to the American Cancer Society because I see that Gail has her hand raised.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I had to go on other application. Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Gail Irwin, and I am the chairperson for the Relay for Life at Silicon Valley North for the American Cancer Society. As you can see, we bring together Cupertino, Los Altos, Milpitas, Mountain View, and Sunnyvale. Next. The American Cancer Society is the largest non-government funder of cancer research, offering free programs and services to cancer patients and their families. Programs include ride, chemo treatments, peer-to-peer counseling, and support with our 24/7 800 number available. Next. Okay, I'm not going to read this because I'm going to tell you what really goes on here. Relay for Life is a community event, as I said. Our mission is to celebrate, remember, and fight back. We celebrate our cancer survivors, of which I am one. We take a moment to remember those who battled cancer and were taken from us too soon, which was my mother. And we also fight back through research, education, legislation to support cancer patients, survivors, and their families. And we all can't avoid the fact that COVID-19 has changed our world forever, and it touched the American Cancer Society as well. The majority of our calls on our 800 number come from newly diagnosed patients looking for resources. And for the first 18 months of the pandemic, many people missed their early screening appointments. Cancer does not stop just because there's a pandemic. And the sad fact is that people are going to be diagnosed later, which means harsher treatments. The American Cancer Society will see a new influx and need for support from people in our communities. So this event will take place on June 18th from 10 to 10. Teams gather and walk around the track, as I said, to celebrate, remember, and fight back. Next. What we will do with the funds, we will need, we usually have a DJ, and we have tents and table rentals and signage, as well as whatever fees that we will have to pay to the city of Cupertino to use their wonderful facilities. So, the more money we raise, the more money goes to the bottom line. ACS is committed to be prudent in the donor dollar, and it's shown by the fact that we've combined different relays in the Bay Area as an event to keep our overhead low and make a bigger impact on our community. When cancer strikes, we want the American Cancer Society to always be there. Next. Thank you so much. And in the bottom corner, you can see that 800 number that is so important to many who have faced cancer. Any questions? And thank you for listening.
Gail, thank you for your nice presentation. And thank you for the contribution to the community. Yeah, you did a lot of good job. And I see Commissioner Stanek has a question.
Hi, thank you. And thank you for the presentation. I guess one particular question I have is we are looking at community grants for the Cupertino fiscal budget year from 22 to 23, which is July of 22 to June of 23. And it looks like this event is happening before that budget year starts. So I guess I'm a little confused about the request for the grant.
I am a volunteer, and they've asked me to come and present, and that's confusing me too. I did think it was for this year. So, Rochelle, could you put that information up? I do believe they had this year on it. So I think we might have had a confusion as to the year and the budget year. So we do need help this year, without a doubt. And it didn't say what year it was for. So, but this year will be 22 on the June 18th. So I don't know what to say. If we're not
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but
no,
yes,
it's totally true. If this is a budget, if we're not in the right budget year, we're doing something wrong. So I don't understand that as well. So I don't know where to go from here.
Okay, just one quick question. What track are you planning to be at for your Relay for Life this year?
We use the Quinlan Center.
Oh, okay.
It's an awesome venue, and we just walk around the area there, and you have your little picnic area where we have our survivor lunch for them, and it's a wonderful park. We love it.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
And Commissioner Kumaran.
Yeah. Thank you,
Hi,
Chair.
I'm sorry. Hello?
Oh, Seema signed on.
Yes, I'm actually sorry about this. I've been flying in air and the Wi-Fi is very spotty. My flight got cancelled and I was rebooked into another flight. My apologies. So you see the background, so I can mute myself if that helps.
Until you have something to say, yes, please.
Yes, I'll mute myself until I have to say something.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Gail, for the presentation and the information. And I have two quick questions. Number one, you said that at this time, a lot of the request or 1-800 calls are coming from the new, the cancer patients or the new cancer patients. I do not know what the distinction on typically the research, because you said because of that, we need to have more research. Is there anything specific because of these additional calls coming in or the community needs, there is a special research fund is needed, or it is going back to the same research which are currently in progress, whatever the research the American Cancer Society
The research is separate from our services. Okay, so we support research, yes, but we always maintain our services of the 1-800 number. We also do ride share. We also offer hotel rooms for people who have to go out of the area to get treatment. So the 1-800 number is one of our many services, and that is one that is going to be stretched a lot with more people calling, because most of the calls do come from the newly diagnosed, but not all calls.
Right. So these funds are mainly driven towards the services which you offer to the community members. Is that right?
Yes, research and services, both.
Research and services. Okay, great. Thank you. And the second question may not be directed to you, but I think maybe Dr. Joanna or Rachel. I think one of the things mentioned is like $1,200 on this for city facility cost, kind of. But I do remember that I think sometimes we do waive the cost for these grant if it gets granted. Is that right? I just want to understand what is the policy.
There is another process where City Council does sometimes approve fee waivers for different festivals. Yes.
Got it. Okay, because I saw that if it is happening in Cupertino City, it looks like there is a $1,200 if I see that application. That's what marked as venue fee. So in the total request, looks like that's included as well. Okay, thanks, Gail. That's pretty much, and I think maybe once you get back based on Commissioner Stanek's questions on where it is and what, I think we will get there. But I think a good cause. Appreciated you coming here.
Well, thank you very much for hearing me out. And I'm sorry, it seems like we had a confusion about the dates and the budgets. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation, and looks like it's a great program. And I have a question for Rachel. So I see the eligibility part. Maybe our staff they didn't check the service date of the request in their application.
The truth is that the eligibility doesn't, one of the criteria is not necessarily the date of the event. So I do understand what you're saying, but that wouldn't necessarily make them ineligible. Plus a lot of groups, when they're that late in the year, the expenses actually come in after the event, before the event, you know, you don't get all the invoices. So truthfully, with an event that late, you never know. They could be paying in July. So just something to think about.
Okay. And thank you for your explanation. I think there's no more questions, so we can go to the next applicant.
Okay, then I would like to introduce Young Zine, who is requesting money for Summer Youth Climate Steward Program.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deepa Gopal, and I'm the founder of Young Zine. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to present tonight. Young Zine is a volunteer-run nonprofit that's dedicated to promoting climate literacy in our students, helping them understand the challenges and the opportunities it presents. If you could go to the first slide, I'm sorry. Next slide.
Okay.
Yes. So it's about helping our students understand the challenges and the opportunities it presents and empowering them with the knowledge and skills to build a just and sustainable future. So we have a decade-long experience of working with students through our Young Zine platform, which is well recognized nationally, as you can see at the lower bottom. Our news articles are in fact written by high school students under our mentorship. And 70% of our writers are from the Cupertino area because we promote at local volunteer fairs. Last fall, we launched comprehensive core content on climate literacy, which is written for students and developed with climate scientists. So this current content is being piloted in a few classrooms across the country, including Lawson Middle School. And last fall, we presented this core content at a teacher fellowship program in San Mateo. And we are headed next week to Austin, where we're doing a workshop for teachers at South by Southwest EDU. Next slide, please. So now sustainability is the foundation of all future careers, and in fact may even open up new career opportunities for students of today. So we are really excited to launch our inaugural program for high school students this summer. And so during this 3-week Knowledge to Action program, students will understand the context of climate change, how it impacts sustainability, the solutions in different sectors, and actions that governments, companies, and individuals need to take. And they will then get to apply this knowledge through a capstone project that addresses sustainability in their own community and present that in a TED-like format. During the course of this program, students will also have an opportunity to interact with experts from academia, industry, and local government. The program is going to be virtual with an in-person final presentation and will be open to STEM and humanities students. So we're looking to take a maximum of 20 students with priority for Cupertino residents in our initial inaugural cohort. Next slide, please. So the total program budget for planning and delivering this 3-week program, we estimate would be $11,000. And we're asking the city of Cupertino for a grant of $6,000. We will have a nominal fee
15 seconds left.
The nominal fee of $500 per student once they're accepted. And we'd love to have the city of Cupertino as our partner on this very first program of its kind. And we hope this will be a blueprint for many more in the future. Thank you. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you for the presentation. And care about the mental health is one of our city tasks. I'm glad to see such good program. And I see Commissioner Kumaran have question.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Deepa, for the presentation and a good call on it. One question I have here is, you said that it is like a 20 students, and I think it's in person. And is it also will be available for folks to view remotely, like that means through videos and others, or live streaming, or it's just purely a classroom kind of a session?
So, yes, so a maximum of 20 students, and it will be done primarily virtually, the instruction part of it. And then the final presentation. So the students, once they take a project, that will work with them, and then the final presentation of that project will be done in a live session. So it's primarily a program for students. And this will not be live streamed, because this is actually the students working together on content in breakout sessions, having discussions, reading book excerpts, discussing topics. So it's really actually taking students, we're kind of piloting something that we visioned for how do we build a interdisciplinary understanding of climate literacy and sustainability in our youth. And so the idea is to work closely with this group of students.
Got it. So maybe if I understand, so the students will be in person somewhere, but the virtual coaching or the lectures and will be virtual. Is that right?
The students will be from their homes or wherever they're belonging individually.
Okay. But when you said that they will collaborate, they will still collaborate virtually. Is that?
They will collaborate virtually once they form small groups that they're working on a project. For example, the capstone project, they'll work together again virtually on those projects. And eventually the presentation of that project will be what we'll have in person.
I see. Maybe just one quick follow-up, and then I'll let the other commissioners ask. The reason I asked that is that if it is both are virtual, I'm just, again, you may have limitations on it. Why is there only a 20 if there are more people, students can get benefited for this program, right? Is there a reason why it is only 20 limited?
Yes. So we're keeping it small because we want to work closely with these students and create a collaborative environment. So once you get very big on Zoom, it's not a lecture session alone. So it's more of, working together, reading sections, breakout sessions, discussing. So it becomes very difficult to manage very large crowds. So that's why we're keeping this cohort as very small, so that there's close interaction, and then the students are then working together on a project.
Got it. And one last question. And the maximum amount spent on this one is for the tutors or the material preparation, correct?
Right. Yes. Most of that is beyond the content preparation. This is our first inaugural program. And so the content preparation and delivery is the primary charges, because we're going to have instructors for running the program.
Got it. Thank you.
I see Vice Chair Beggar has question.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Deepa, for your presentation. Hey, this is a follow-on to what Commissioner Gopal was asking. So basically, it's a virtual program that you're going to have. All the instruction is virtual, and the breakout groups are virtual. But at the end, somewhere, somebody's presenting something. Can you be a little bit more clear about how that works? And who will they be presenting to?
Right. So the students are collaborating virtually. So for example, if you take a community project that they're passionate about, so then they'll be working from, virtually. I mean, students are welcome to meet separately, but of course, they're going to be working on a platform. At the end of it, the idea is to do like a TED-like presentation to a live community of parents. We'll have a panel of experts. For example, one of our climate scientists who's helped us develop this content is here at Stanford. He's on our board, so he'll be one of the people who'll be attending. So we'll have a small panel of experts who'll be attending, and have these students have this opportunity to present their idea for a solution in front of a live audience with parents as well. So that's the idea.
Okay, and all of this still continues to be virtual?
Except for the final presentation.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So the idea is we're hoping that we'll get,
Thank you.
Our focus is on students from Cupertino, but if we have to go beyond into the Bay Area, we are open to going. So our first priority is Cupertino students, but we're opening up to other students as well in other parts of the Bay Area.
Okay. And I see Commissioner Stanek has a question too.
Thank you. Just to follow up on that, on the application, there's a question about will there be a charge or fee for the program? And the answer is yes, there will be a discounted fee for the program. And I see that you said that it will be $500 per student in your presentation. Is that is there another discounted fee that some students could get?
So for now, the $500 is for the 3 weeks, and that is the amount, which is, I think, pretty, we felt was quite discounted for the nature of the program, the length of the program. That said, if we get more students who are from underprivileged background, we will look to find support for them outside and see if we can further discount that amount.
And how will you identify those candidates?
So in our application form for students, we are asking if they need support, and that'll be one of the criteria in evaluating applications. So this is an application-based program.
Okay. Okay. So it is a question on your application.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's no more questions. So we can go to the next application.
So now I would like to present Able to Shine, and they are requesting money for teen club events in 2022.
Hello.
We can hear you.
All right, cool. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ping. I'm the founder of Able to Shine Foundation here. And thank you for offering me the opportunity to share about what we are, what we have done, and why we are here tonight. Okay, next slide, please. And Able to Shine is, hold on, please. So, shoot. All right. So Able to Shine Foundation is a nonprofit organization established in 2016. Next. And so we are here to help Asian American children develop a better communication, leadership skills that will benefit themselves, the community, and ultimately society. Next. And what we focus on is as following: leadership, teamwork, social responsibility, public speaking, character building, and cross-cultural promotion. And the next. And what we have done for the past few years, first, we sponsor more than 40 Lunar New Year celebrations in the 2017, 2018, and 2019 across the 40 public and private schools in the Northern California. Around the roughly 30,000 people, 30,000 children watch the show and celebrating the festival together. Next slide. And in addition, we also collected $75,000 through 2 large-scale community fundraising shows to assist the underprivileged and the special needs children in the past years. And we also collected another $15,000 for 2 schools that were affected by the 2017 Santa Rosa wildfire. Next slide. And in addition, we also promoted the cross-cultural exchange programs between USA and China. And in the slide, you will see the partnership institutions in the slide, which includes, I just briefly mentioned a couple of names there: San Jose Children's Museum, the Gilroy Garden, and also China National Children's Theaters, and etc. Next slide, please. And we also consistently organize the kids' talent shows in the senior centers on a quarterly basis across the Bay Area for the past 6 years. And including during the pandemic period here, which we kind of brought the performance online. Roughly around 3,000 seniors were served, and around 4,000 kids family involved. And for the past 2 years, we donated masks and also other medical equipment of $8,000 or more to the hospitals and the nurses in the Bay Area during the pandemic.
15 seconds.
Okay. And we also organized students and parents to speak up, 5 Stop Asian Hate rallies in the 2021 across the Bay Area. And we also have a Teens Club, And the reason why we're here, because we want to, do the fundraising shows for special needs kids in the theaters in the upcoming years. And also we want to organize online the in-person monthly workshops and activities, in the teams to help kids to cope with the depression and other mental issues as a result of the pandemic. And we would like to hire a part-time, full-time mentor for the long-term purpose to coach and also drive the teams for the teamwork and also leadership and the community services here.
Sorry to cut you off, but your time is up.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know that it was 3 minutes already. Okay, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the panel.
Thank you for the nice presentation, and thank you for serving our community, organized so many interesting programs. And I believe kids must have a lot of fun and learned from this program. So are there any questions from Commissioner? Vice Chair Begor.
So thank you for your presentation thing, and couple of questions. So if I was to understand this correctly, you have a number of different projects, but you don't have anything specific. But do you have like timelines for these specifically? Like with the cross-cultural show or the art fundraisers, do you have a specific date for them at this? I mean, I don't see any specific dates, but it looks like you want the money for various projects at various times during the year. Is that right?
Yes, I think your understanding is correct. I hope to do the theater show or fundraising show, hopefully in the end of this year or probably early next year, really depending on the COVID-19 situation here. Because in the past years, we constantly, did the fundraising show on the annual basis, before the COVID-19 situation. But now I cannot really give you exact time and the dates here because we don't know what's coming up. Probably we'll have a better answer during the summertime. But definitely we're going to bring the theater show, fundraising show back to the community for sure. And also the multiple projects involved. The other project is we want to hire a part-time, full-time coach for the teens club for the long-term purposes. Actually, we already have a coach here, and she has been helping us, organizing all kinds of events or coordinating with the events outside of the teens club. But she's doing currently part-time job right now, and she's very helpful to the teens clubs, growing. But it would be nice if we can get some financial aid, from outside to have a person out there for long-term purposes and give more hours to help the kids to grow.
You mentioned that you have some programs, you have some shows at the senior center. Have you done any at the Cupertino Senior Center?
Oh, a lot. I think majority of ones are done in the Cupertino, so we used to do the shows in the Ansar College Theater, and we also do, I don't remember the name of theater, and the Foothill College Theater. We used to have a show over there, and also Santa Clara University Theater. But I don't know if they're all be part of the Cupertino area, but it's very close by. And definitely a lot of audience from the Cupertino area, like parents, kids, went to the theaters to watch the show, and they also donated money for the show. And we afterwards we donate money to the special needs or like a charity organizations there.
Next question, Commissioner Kumarapan.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Pink, for sharing those details. I do have a couple of quick questions, and maybe quickly on what the Commissioner Bahur asked earlier. So whatever you mentioned, I think the question is whether any program happened in the senior center of Cupertino, because you said many other things are happening in the other senior centers. We do have a senior center in Cupertino, and want to make sure there is any program happened there. I think looks like.
Oh, sorry. I think my bad. I think I mixed two questions together. Yeah, I think for the senior center show, it has been happening on a quarterly basis, and I think half of them are from the Cupertino areas. I have the name list of locations, and if you guys need them, I can provide them by emails. But I don't have the names, on my hand right now. Yeah.
Okay. No worries. So I have two other quick questions. Number one. You said that in the budget, the organization budget is $50K, and then also the program budget is $50K, 50,000 on both the side. Is it like organization overall? I mean, for yearly budget you have as 50,000, and out of which you are asking for 20,000. Is that right? Because
I think the number I put on the slide just part of the operating cost there. I didn't put all of them there.
No, I'm just reading from your application. I'm just taking your application in parallel. And it says your organization budget is 50K, and also the total program budget is also 50K. So I'm trying to figure it out. What is that your organization does other than these?
So I think I just put the two. There are two items I was asking for the refunding. One is the, the salary for part-time and full-time coach, and the other one is the theater rental cost. And those are just the part of the operating costs there. I didn't put all the costs in here. And I also I would like to just get some financial aid, for these two projects. And for the other operating costs, it will be covered by the other resources. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So what is the final ask here? Maybe Rachel in the presentation, maybe I'm missing it. I didn't see that exact number.
So I think salary for the part-time, full-time coach for the Teens Club will be around like $15,000 or something, and then another one like $10,000 will be around the $10,000 will be the theater rental cost.
Okay, thanks, Ping, and I think maybe Rachel, there's another one. It is definitely mismatching with what is there in the application, what is that's currently we heard. On specifics, because there it is 9K for.
Yeah, I kind of changed, sorry, because this is my first time to apply this kind of fund. And initially I put the numbers there, but then I come to the event, I noticed, the funding might not be that much. So I can lower my numbers right away.
Okay, thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'm okay. I'm flexible with whatever number I will get, but it would be nice to get some financial aid from the outside, from the Cupertino community, because half of them will be from the Cupertino residents, students, and families there. So it's all coming back.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, sure. I will let our staff to really correct exactly, because we go by the application. So, but thank you.
Yeah, it would be nice to get more, but it's okay because I need I understand other organization, but I also need help. Yeah, I'm just be happy to be part of it. Either way, I will continue to do whatever we are doing right now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I have two questions.
Sure.
One is regarding the breakdown of all the funds. So you said you updated the information. So is there an can we look at the new breakdown, or it's not ready tonight? We can only see it later.
Yeah, I think a breakdown.
Rachel, do you have any information?
If you click on the latest, if you click on the latest link, I guess I update this directly in the slide. Then you will see the latest information there. Yeah, I kind of like lower the number. For the funding request, because I noticed the funding range might not be that big. Yeah.
And I have another question. So in the original cost, it says a staffing cost, but if it's for the part-time and the full-time coach, I'm wondering, is that count as the staffing cost or the operational cost?
I think that's a staffing cost. There are some other operational costs, that was kind of like, recovered from the other resources. And we also have a volunteer, some parents doing the volunteer work here. So, yeah.
Chair Shu, I just wanted to remind you that the time has run out for this item, to start wrapping up, sorry.
Okay. I have one last question. So you mentioned the number of individuals, that's 5,000. And Cupertino residents 2,000. Is that only for Teen Club or for all the multiple programs? I want to clarify this.
Where did you see the 5,000?
So in the item 12 in your application, who will be served by this grant?
Who will be served? Which slide?
No, in your application package.
Oh, okay. So can you please repeat your question? So what's the whole question?
So it said the total number of individuals be served will be 5,000, and number of Cupertino residents 2,000. I just want to know, is that for all the multiple program or only for this team?
I think multiple, multiple.
Okay, so maybe we need clarification. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, multiple events, multiple activities.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Sure.
And we can move to the next application.
Okay, next I would like to introduce the Cupertino Educational Endowment Foundation, who's requesting money for the expansion of the teacher grant program.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So thanks for allowing us to provide some more details tonight on this grant application from the Cupertino Educational Endowment Foundation, also referred to as CEF. My name is Karen Riscalo. I am a board member and the current president. Our nonprofit organization was founded in 1984 to raise and leverage private support to provide sustainable funding for all the schools in CUSD. In late October, we committed $100,000 to implement a teacher grant program for all CUSD teachers. So there's roughly 750 teachers working in the district this year, and each is eligible to apply for a grant of up to $500 to purchase additional supplies for their classroom or professional development. And you can see here some of the more popular items that have been requested. We've already granted almost $70,000 in this first 4 months, and we're confident we'll reach our $100,000 commitment, as less than a quarter of the teachers have applied already to date. What we'd like to do is expand the program to include funding for equipment for the nursing staff. So if you could go to the next slide, please. The hearing equipment being used in CUSD schools right now is outdated and antiquated. What equipment does exist is often moved from school to school because there's a lack of equipment. And this causes the machines to be uncalibrated quickly, providing really inaccurate results. So the request is for a hearing screener, which is $5,600, and that's the most valuable item the nursing staff has requested. One unit would go a long way in allowing the teams to serve young preschool and special needs students, because this unit is a device that goes into the child's ear and provides an analysis instead of the hearing units where students have to raise their hand when they hear sounds. So these two classes of students have difficulty following instructions, and this would allow more accurate hearing screens. The device could be shared amongst the schools and for many years to come. The second item that the team needs is more audiometers. These cost between $11,000 and $12,000 each. And there's 9 CUSD schools that are within Cupertino that need audiometers right now. Any number provided up to 9 would be really impactful and allow the nursing staff to conduct hearing screens efficiently and accurately with the 6,200 Cupertino students, as well as the larger population of students in the district, which is totaling almost 14,000. So we're kind of requesting any amount up to $20,000 from the city of Cupertino to be applied towards this $100,000 need. Thanks for your consideration, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. And so are there any questions from commissioners? If not, I have one. Oh, so Commissioner Komarapan, you can ask a question first.
Sure, thank you. Thanks, Karen, for the information. I have a couple of questions. Number one, this fund request is not for the supplies, but for the medical equipment, the hearing equipments, correct?
Yes, it's just for the equipment. So right now, the budget that the nursing staff in the district has is really spent on disposables that are used for visual and hearing testing and regular first aid. What they don't have is budget to buy new equipment. So they're using the old equipment now. And so what we're trying to do is, find a way to get them the budget needed to buy newer equipment so that their testing can be more accurate.
Got it. And the second question I have is that you said so the equipments currently we have at schools are outdated, obsolete, and it's not. But typically, is these things are originally supplied by the state, or how did the school buy this one originally?
Yeah, I actually don't know that I have the answer to that. I'm part of the nonprofit organization, and I'm not one of the nurses. All I can tell you is that the equipment that they're currently using is the more sort of traditional ones where a student is asked to put earphones on, and then they're supposed to raise their hand or their fingers when they hear sounds in each of their ears. And the problem, although that's somewhat accurate, it's really inaccurate with people that can't follow instructions. So you're really young, like preschoolers and kinder students, and any students in any grades really, K through 8 that have any type of special needs and have difficulty following instructions, that equipment can't be used effectively. And then some of the additional equipment that moves from campus to campus, the calibration gets thrown off. So even though the equipment could be used for the students that can follow instructions, if the calibration can't be maintained, they find that the results are less accurate. But I unfortunately don't know where the equipment came from originally.
Okay, thank you, Karen. The reason I just want to put the rationale behind my question is not the question about why you asking for us to upgrade it. That's not, I think, main reason is this seems to be a very basic prerequisite must in the school system, in the nurses should have it. And I'm trying to figure it out if those are obsolete things or why not the fund from the school system or the state or federal, wherever the funds are coming in, is not being sent to fund this. Again, not funding from our side is not the question, but I'm saying this seems to be a very basic things and why these things are. That's all. If you don't have answer, it's fine, but that's what puzzles me, that this seems very important health related ones. And
sure, no, I understand. I totally understand the question and why you would ask it. Again, I don't know where the equipment comes from, but I can tell you, I've been working with the school district now for 15 years, and our schools are underfunded. I actually have tons of material if you ever wanted the understanding, but we receive about $2,000 less per student than the national average. And so the equipment, the budget that the district has to work with sometimes doesn't cover everything they need to cover. So if they have older equipment that is servicing some need, it might be that they're not upgrading it because their needs are greater in some other area. So I know that that's part of the issue, unless it was provided for free from, the federal or state, then it becomes an issue to purchase it.
Thank you. I know we are in that situation, which is absolutely not, for me, it's not compelling to hear that, but thank you. Thanks for presenting it. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, and actually I have the same question as Commissioner Kumarapan. Yeah, I'm just wondering, looks like that's some school equipment and maybe maybe we have bond or some other resource to pay for that. Yeah, and thank you for the explanation. So are there any questions from Commissioner? If not, we can go to the next application.
Thanks so much.
Okay, now I'd like to introduce Cupertino Union School District, who's requesting money for the CUSD Summer Bridge Program.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for giving me a few moments to speak tonight. I think we are going to go to the next slide.
Sorry.
It's okay, no problem.
Not letting me, oh dear. One
go?
moment, please.
Okay, no problem.
My Adobe has decided to crash. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, I think you're good to go, Allison.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So our request is for a summer program for students, and I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about CUSD, our school district, on the next slide. We have about 14,000 students, TK through 8. Our district runs across 6 cities, including Cupertino, and currently we have 25 schools. 11 of the schools are in Cupertino. And we're a very high achieving, wonderful school district. And we also have a lot of students who have needs. We have approximately 15% of our population as English learners and 45 languages in our district. Currently 12 students who are homeless and 9 foster youth. And then a large percentage relative to other years of low income students. As a district, it's about 13%, and in the Sedgwick neighborhood, approximately 18%. And we have seen that the need has either doubled or tripled at many of our school sites since the pandemic began. We collect information from parents at the start of the school year on income levels. And fortunately now, all kids are getting free meals at school, which has been a wonderful blessing this year. So our program request on the next slide is we would like to offer a summer learning and enrichment program at the Sedgwick campus for students entering grades 1 through 6. This program would serve 240 students. And in the morning, our teachers would be providing skill-based academic lessons in reading and math. And then in the afternoon, we would really like to stretch that day all the way until 5:30 p.m. so that the kids could have a summer camp experience. And that camp would be focused on what we call STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. It would run for 20 days, and it would be serving those 240 students in the Sedgwick neighborhood, as well as impacting their families. The kids would be a part of one or more of the following groups, either English learner, low income, or foster youth. These are categories that the state identifies for us to consider students with higher needs. Our intention is to respond to the impacts of COVID-19. This would be in person, a chance for the kids to really engage and have a meaningful learning opportunity in the summer. Going to the next slide. We are requesting $20,000, which would be a portion of the camp fees. It's approximately $300 for each camper. So this $20,000 would cover approximately
15 seconds.
67 students, and we would be covering the remaining costs for the morning academic program as well as the remaining campers. We can go to the next slide. We were really struck by reading the mission of Cupertino, and we really feel that this is a moment in our community where we need to come together for our most vulnerable students and families. We know that summer learning makes a tremendous impact on students, and we hope we can work together to reach this goal for our most vulnerable families. Thank you.
And thank you for your presentation. And as the Vice Chair, Vigor has a question.
Thank you, Allison, for your presentation. I have a couple of questions. This is a CUSD run program, right? It's being specifically run for Sedgwick, but I'm assuming that there will be a summer program being held at the other elementary schools around CUSD. Is that right?
It is correct. This is just the portion that is related to kids in the Sedgwick neighborhood, but we intend to offer this at 2 other campuses. The budget for that is separate. So this is 1/3 of our program really for the summer coming up.
Of those in the other 2 areas, and I assume even in the Sedgwick one, the children will be paying. I mean, there'll be some children who will be paying for it, if not all of them. Obviously, the low income and the foster youth, I would imagine, are exceptions, but other kids will be paying for the program?
Actually, no. This is part of a broader state vision for how we can respond to the COVID impact in our communities, and our challenge, and really all schools are challenged to serve all of our students in these categories at no cost. So we have approximately overall in our district about 3,000 children in this category. So all of the children who attend this will receive it at no cost, and they will all fall into one of those categories or more than one: English learner, foster youth, or low income.
So I guess these are state standards that came up with the English learner. I mean, not necessarily they are, if a person is an English learner, that they would be low income or a foster youth, right? Or is this some classification that you have no control over?
Right, they might only be an English learner, but not low income or foster youth. They might only be a foster youth student. Some children fall into multiple categories. Some children fall into only one of the categories.
fall into one of the categories, they still get to be.
Yes, yes. This is because also because English learners are benefit from in-person learning time, growing their vocabulary in person. So in response to all of the time we spent in distance learning, not having in-person learning, this is part of the goal to make sure that kids can recover from their experience and keep going with their learning goals and continue to progress and thrive.
CUSD is funding how much, what was the percentage? I mean, I see 128K being funded according to the application. And what total cost did I miss that?
So the
funds,
cost,
okay.
The cost for the camp is $300 for the camper, $15 a day per student for 20 days. We always have offered a summer program in recent years, but the goal this year is to extend it to include that enrichment summer camp opportunity.
What I'm trying to understand is that if there is some part of the summer camp that some will pay for, you're saying that doesn't offset the 3,000 odd kids that are in the CUSD program that will require help. Is that the correct understanding?
So for this program, all 240 students would fall into an eligibility category, and that will mean that they will receive this at no cost. And that is actually going to be a new state requirement for us to offer extended care. It is a requirement now that we're trying to get up to speed on. And we are challenged to find community partners to meet this goal because the funding that the state is giving us at this time is $5 per student to meet this goal. So it's really part of a larger picture. Our bigger requirement that we are eager to meet is to make sure that the kids in these categories into next year have extended learning during the school year and during the summer at no cost.
Commissioner Kumarapan, you can ask your question.
Sure. Maybe I have maybe one question because some other things that Commissioner asked already. Thanks, Alison, for the details. Still, I'm not completely clear on these 240 and then 67 students will be paid once we get this 20K. So I'm not fully, but maybe we don't have to go there for now. The one question, given the time I have is, this is the only funding request because it's 20K, and if not, what are the alternate sources you're looking for? Because if summer program is going and CSD is funding with 52K, or this 72K program or so what is the other sources you're looking at other than this 20K from city?
So the state has provided us some funding at $5 per student. We know that we will be doing the summer program. That funding has to stretch us all the way through next year. We are waiting on the next governor's budget to see what happens, see if there is additional funding. But we would, if we don't get this funding, we would have to draw from that, draw it down, and then create another plan for next school year.
I see. Okay, thank you. I'll stop here now. Yeah.
Thank you for your consideration.
And Commissioner Stanek has a question too.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. Very enlightening. I think you just answered my question. It has to do with the timing of the summer school program, the bridge program that starts June 23rd to July 21st. And you said basically if you didn't have the funds, you would be drawing down other funds you have, and then have to be looking for more funds. So if this money is not available until the next budget year for us, that would still be useful to you to receive it in July?
Yes, it would.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I have a question. So I know CUSD in some school sites, they offer summer school. So what's the difference between this summer camp program and the other summer school program? Because I heard the summer school was funded by state. So is that summer school only for special need or some?
Yes.
Some other?
So historically, we have had something called Extended School Year or ESY summer program for students with special needs, which is funded through a different source. Last school year, we did have another version of Summer Bridge, which was just a half-day virtual with teachers, and then we used a local vendor for physical activity in the afternoon. It was a much smaller program, and we did use some of our COVID dollars that we received from the state to fund last year's program. Our challenge this year is to expand and try to meet the needs of more children that fall into those categories and really make it a meaningful, fun experience for the kids.
So another question is, so this program is requested by state or CUSD just want to expand the program?
So the state has required all schools to provide extended learning time for students in these categories during the school year and then for 30 days beyond the school year. Districts have an opportunity to design the program however they would like to. It is a frequent occurrence that the state mandates things without fully funding it for schools. So that is true here as well. While it is a requirement and a mandate, we feel excited about this because we know that many families and students are struggling in our community, and we know the power of enrichment in the summer and meaningful summer learning. And so even though it's a requirement, we're committed and excited about fulfilling it.
Okay, thank you. If there's no more questions, we can go to the next application. Thanks.
Okay, now I would like to introduce Fremont Union School District Foundation, who is requesting money for CARE, Solace Partnership for Mental Health Services.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ashish Garg, and I'm one of the board member of Fremont Union High School District Foundation. So, this is a non-profit organization which was set up in 1983 to serve the Fremont Union High School District, and as the name suggests, we provide support to 5 high schools in the Fremont Union High School District. That's Monta Vista, Cupertino High, Fremont High, Homestead High, and Lynbrook. So we are a totally 100% voluntary run organization. So whatever fund we raise every year, out of that, every dollar raised, 94 cents goes to fund and support different programs run by these schools in the district. So we support the Fremont Union High School District and then also support specific programs run by different schools. We support different clubs that there are different schools, and we also support teachers in case there is a request from any teacher. We support that request. So if you go to the next slide. So our mission is to, we are, as I said earlier, we are a non-profit organization. Mission is to raise, fund, and develop resources to support the educational program that benefit all the students in our school districts. Next slide, please. So if you look at the foundation, so last year we distributed around $410,000 to support 10,000 plus students in our school district. So the way we fund,
Sorry, Seema, can you please make sure you're muted?
So the way we fund, so the majority of fund goes to district and district distribute to different schools. But in case we have a specific request from any of the clubs run by students, or we have any requests from the teacher, we also fund those requests. So if you go to the next slide, you can see different programs that we fund. So it's not that it's just a list, and then we always add new program that we can fund. So we fund Nebians and Schoology. We fund different STEM of education run by different schools. We have athletic, drama, journalism, art club that we fund. We fund robotics, and then these are the new programs that we added this year. So one is the program mental health support. So for that we are requesting grant today. So that's why I'm presenting. So if you go to the next slide, please. So if you can just go to the next slide. So this is, I'll come back to this slide. So we also support the parent resource network. So in the parent resource network, we support parent to have focus on the academic college careers.
15 seconds left.
Oh, sorry. So go back to, can you go back to the previous slide? So this is the program for which we are requesting grant. So this is the Care Solace program run by the district to support the mental health for the student and their family. With COVID, we have the greater need for the funds to support this program. So right now, instead, like in addition to the resource provider from the school, district also provide this help to the students. So a student can call a number, which is the dedicated number for the district, and also there is a link to the website where they can just go to that link, and they can talk to the third party, which is the Care Solace, which provides support to the district. So time is up. Sorry, I went too fast. A lot of information.
And thank you for your presentation. And I see Commissioner Kumarapan has a question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Chair. And thanks, Ashish, for the details and some more information which I was not aware of these. Thank you. And two quick questions. One, you said that the fund, from the application, it says everything, you're giving the fund to the district.
Yep.
And they will distribute it.
They will distribute, to the different schools. Yeah.
Got it. And this distribution is nothing but paying to the Care Solace, and I didn't. That's what I didn't understand. And you said this is for mental health specifically.
Yes. So there's like 2 tiers. So one is in case any school need any additional resource, so they will fund that school for that additional resource, and also district also run the same program. So they have a program that run by district. So if you do outside of school hours, so you can call a number, and then you can also go to the website and you can set up an appointment. You can talk to a counselor. That's provided by Care Solace. But in addition to that, if you are in school, there are the counselor from Care Solace on site. They provide the support. So in addition to school counselors, you have another level of support for the students. Yeah.
So this particular fund request is mainly to support the off-campus.
Off-campus, so additional resource, because we need additional resource. So Care Solace is a third party which is providing support for district and the schools. So that to fund that particular program to third party, Care Solace.
I see. And is that because I see the beneficiaries, of course, all students.
Anybody
can get it.
And their family
do you know the reason why? Because do you see more of the students calling these Care Solace the off-time school program? That's why the need is coming in. I'm trying to understand.
Because need is coming after COVID, so it has increased. So because if you say this is a new program that district started, and if you look at I don't have a specific data how many calls are coming, but if I go and look at the Care Solace side, so right now they're serving around around 150. They are serving around over let me go to so they're serving around 3 million students right now. And then if you look at the number of calls they have received, so far they have received 72,000 calls from different students and different school districts. So and also the main purpose of this thing is this will free up some of the time of the counselor that we have. So they, instead of supporting the student on the mental health, they can support on other for essay writing and all those things. So right now, so we can free up some of the times of the school counselor also. That's the other purpose of this program. So if we can hire a third party, it will free up some of the time that the school counselor have to spend with the students if they have any mental health questions.
I see. So it looks like the same person is doing all, so you wanted to distribute. Okay, thank you. Other commissioners have questions. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you for your answer. And Commissioner Stanek has a question.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't quite get, you said you didn't have the number of calls. My question was how many students are accessing the program?
So right now, I don't have any specific data from the district, like how many students, because it's just because we can't keep a track, because the goal, if some student call, it goes directly to the care solace counselor, or if they go to their website, it goes to them. So they provide that support. We are just having a contract with those that care solace to provide the support. So right now, I can go and back and talk to the district if they have that specific data right now, but I'm not sure about that specific calls. How many calls are getting generated to care solace from the Fremont School District?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I can provide that. I can provide that.
The other question is how do we measure success? How do we know that this is a value, that this is working for our students?
So
is there any satisfaction survey coming from the students or rating of the service?
So right now, so far we know this program is working, but as far as service is concerned, because we rolled out this program this year, the first year that we rolled out this program. So at the end of the school year, we might have some survey, and then we'll see like how that program is working. But right now, this is the first year that we partnered with this Care Solace to provide this support. So right now, we don't have those specific data.
Okay, and then the other question is, this is for this school year, right?
It's already been, this program is already been in place. The fund that we are requesting is for the next school. So same thing that the 22-23 school next year.
Oh, it is. Okay.
So I think that's the purpose we are asking for, because right now for this school year, this program is in place.
Right. Okay. So the application said for 2022, so it wasn't.
Oh, I mean, so it's run by school districts, so 22, so it's the same period that you are funding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have another question. It said this program got funding from Sunnyvale 2 years ago. So how much was that?
I think last year it was $5,000.
Okay.
$5,000 that was funded. So it went to the district, and then they are using for this program.
Okay, thanks. Are there any more questions? If no, we can go to the next one. Thanks.
Looks like
one more question. So Vice Chair Begor has one more question. Sorry about it.
Just a quick question. So, program with Ursula.
Your voice is breaking. Maybe I'm not sure. It's my audio or?
We cannot hear you clearly. Looks. No, we still cannot hear.
That's okay.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we just go to the next application.
Okay, so now I would like to introduce Women SV, who's requesting money for technical support for domestic abuse survivors. Ruth, you will need to unmute yourself.
Thank you. That would have been embarrassing to talk for 3 minutes. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ruth Darlene, Executive Director of Women of Silicon Valley, or Women SV. We're a domestic violence nonprofit based in Los Altos. Our focus is on serving women involved with a powerful, sophisticated abuser who may commit physical and sexual violence, but also engages in more subtle forms of abuse, like emotional, financial, legal, and technological abuse. Our clients come from all races, all religions, all walks of life, and so do their abusive partners. They are doctors, lawyers, therapists, attorneys, physicians, stay-at-home parents. Next slide, please. I hope that's not going to count against my time.
Yep, there you go.
Very good. I got another 3 seconds. So there's so much shame and social stigma attached to domestic violence in wealthier areas like ours. We think it doesn't happen here, but the truth is we're just better at hiding it. And unfortunately, over 35% of women SV survivors have experienced non-fatal strangulation at the hands of their partner. Next slide, please. Domestic violence happens in every neighborhood, in every town, in every country. 1 in 3 women will be severely beaten or raped during her lifetime. And that doesn't begin to cover the more subtle forms of abuse that are also lethality risks. Next slide, please. Here's what we're doing about it: providing direct client services, training providers, and educating the community. We don't charge for our services because we believe it is the fundamental human right of every woman and child to be free and safe in their own home, but also because of the severe financial abuse that so many of our survivors experience. In fact, over 90% of them have experienced crippling financial abuse. Next slide, please. In the past 10 years, we have served over 1,000 survivors, most of them from Santa Clara County. But we do get calls from all around the country as a result of our unique focus on covert abuse and more subtle forms of abuse. Next slide, please. Power and control issues are the same no matter what neighborhood you come from, but the more money and power you have, the more tools you have to exercise that power and control. Next slide, please. What does an abuser look like? You can't tell by looking. In fact, all the ones in the bottom row have committed the ultimate act of domestic violence, murder. And the one on the top row, second from the left, was a Sunnyvale engineer who recently killed his wife and 11-year-old daughter. It happens even in our community. Next slide, please.
15 seconds left.
Here in Silicon Valley, most of our survivors have experienced extreme technological abuse, hidden cameras and tracking devices put on their cars and used to terrorize and stalk them. Next slide, please. Your help can help us provide support to our survivors with secure burner phones and inexpensive Chromebooks. We can keep them safer online. We can create educational videos for young people and update our website. Next slide, please. That's why we're asking for $20,000 to create all these tools and resources for young people in the community in general. Next slide, please. Your support will help us give survivors new tools, new resources, and most importantly, new hope. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for considering investing in a program that has the potential to impact thousands of lives. Thank you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for the service you provide to people who need help. And I see Commissioner Stanek has a question.
Yes.
Yes, I'd just like to also say thank you for looking out for this vulnerable population. In your application, you said that you were the recipient of some discretionary funds from the mayor's discretionary fund last year. Can you let us know how much that was?
That was $1,000 from your generous mayor.
Okay, thank you. And your total budget is over $500,000. Can you give us a sense of where your other funding is coming from?
Oh, yes, from different sources such as philanthropic groups like the Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, the Lions Club, from El Camino Hospital, from the Board of Supervisors, Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, Los Altos Community Foundation, the local newspaper, the City of Los Altos, and the Mercury News Wish Book Fund. And individual donors.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Just from my own personal knowledge, I saw a term I didn't recognize, an IPV/A.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. Yes, we should be spelling that out. It's intimate partner violence/abuse. So the violence is to cover our general notion of what domestic violence looks like, physical and sexual violence, but the abuse is what really does long-term damage, the emotional, financial, legal, and technological abuse, and that's our unique area of focus.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for educating me.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Kumaran.
Thanks, Chair. Thanks, Ruth. Definitely the information you put in and things are like something, it's an awakening. Two quick questions. One, I think the Commissioner Stana covered it, but thing is that you asked for a 20K and this is asking for a website development and equipment. You also mentioned in your slides, the last but two slide, that you need to buy equipments to either low cost Chromebooks, whatnot for it. Is that for website? Because you already have website, I believe. So predominantly this is going to go for an equipment, is it? Or it's for the feed? Yeah.
So our website was developed back in 2017 and 2018 by volunteers. So it's embarrassingly old-fashioned, and wanting to reach an audience to help educate them about technological abuse. We desperately need to update our website in order to be able to do that effectively, efficiently. And plus, we want to create educational videos to educate our community, our cities, our country about what technological abuse looks like. And so many domestic violence survivors have no idea that their electronics have been turned into stalking devices in the most ingenious and diabolical ways. So if we can raise awareness about that, then we can help better protect not just adults, but also young people. We're also working on a teen dating curriculum to raise awareness about this issue.
Excellent, thank you. And one last question is that you did say that, I think in your application, it says 216 currently registered members here and then 10 in Cupertino. You also said that you get it out of state. So the 216 is from all over the state or the country?
I don't know if we can go back to my slides, but in slide number 5, it sort of addresses the distribution of where our survivors come from. We get, let's see, 53% from Santa Clara County. Thank you so much, Rochelle. Yeah. So you'll see here the bulk of our survivors, most of them come from Santa Clara County. We do get quite a few in this lighter lavender area from San Mateo County, then from around the Bay Area, and then other towns in California, and that 7% is from across the United States.
I see. Okay. The 216, but this covers the 216, right?
Yes,
so
that's right.
Chart for it. So only 7% is out. The rest are all outside, but the rest are all looks like within California and predominantly in our area, Santa Clara County.
Yes.
And, wow, that's alarming. Thank you. That's all the questions I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for answering all the questions. Are there any more questions? If no, we can go to the next one. And thanks.
So Chair, this would be a good break time because we finished the new and we're moving on to returning.
Okay. Does everyone agree to have a maybe 5-minute break? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well deserved. Thank you.
Yeah. Got some coffee
Mainly for Rachel.
prepared. Thank you. Okay. We can have a rest. Okay, we can start the meeting again. And the next session is for the returning applicants.
Yes. So next, I would like to introduce Breathe California of the Bay Area, who's requesting money for Seniors Breathe Easy.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So good evening, Chair Hsu and committee and staff, and thank you so much for taking all this long evening devoted to hearing us out. I'm Margot Seidner, the CEO of Breathe California of the Bay Area, Golden Gate, and Central Coast. And we are a grassroots agency that was founded in San Jose in 1911 as the Tuberculosis Society. And over the years, the century of service here have expanded our mission so that now we fight lung disease in all its forms and work with our communities to promote lung health. Next slide, please. We also are a 501c3 organization, and we accomplish most of our work through health education, patient support programs, and advocacy. Next. So our key roles have been to establish tobacco-free communities, achieve healthy air quality, fight lung diseases such as asthma and TB, and certainly now COPD, and to fight emerging respiratory health threats like COVID-19, wildfires, and the vaping epidemic most recently, which, as you can imagine, has taken a great toll on our agency. Next. So the need is great in the Bay Area. We have about 303 or 3.5 million people who suffer from lung disease. And in the US, lung disease is the third leading cause of death. Next. So because lung disease, or because lungs are unique and open to the environment, we have a big job in looking at all the environmental threats, which includes not only indoor and outdoor pollution, but also pollution from things like tobacco. So this is a lineup of our core programs, and tonight I'm talking about health education for seniors. Next. So Seniors Breathe Easy began about 20 years ago and has expanded across our various territories and thankfully into Cupertino the last few years. And we work with a variety of partners in Cupertino that have us come and do presentations for seniors on lung health education issues. Those like the Cupertino Senior Services, Villa Siena, Chateau Cupertino, Cupertino Healthcare and Wellness Center, the India Center, and others. We also provide other services like health screening, no-cost respiratory equipment like CPAP machines and such, breathing exercise sessions, home assessments, which includes respiratory hazard identification, and also fall prevention, which is extremely important for seniors. In addition, we would expect to reach about 2,500 Cupertino residents of all ages with air quality and lung health information.
I'm sorry, your time's run out. I missed the 15-second window. My apologies.
Oh, okay. Well, our funds are simple because we have other grant support we're lucky for and interns and such. So you can see right there, it's pretty simple. Thank you.
Thank you for your nice presentation. Now, questions. Any commissioner have questions for this? Yeah. Okay, Commissioner Kumaropat.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Margot. I do remember your presentation last time. The one quick question, maybe two. One is that you said senior program, and is it how different it is from the last year? I know last year we funded on it a similar one, I believe, and it says that in the application around 1,800 beneficiaries, and all of them from Cupertino. That's what it says. And if that is the case, okay, what is the difference this time? Or are we just adding it to expand to more, or different programs?
Oh, this is, okay. So this grant ends in June and the other one starts in July. And so far we've reached 1,800 people from Cupertino with the other grant. We're still working there. We have a big health fair coming up for Earth Day in April, for instance. So we expect to meet the rest of our goal from last year by June. And then this would fund from July until the next June.
Got it. Thank you. And the second question is, did you, again, based on this COVID and other situations, I know that last year do you see the more calls coming in? I know last time you mentioned that people call and that's where you travel or support them. Is there anything changed or increased because of the COVID?
We've had difficulty reaching the seniors. That's why we've reached 1,800 instead of the other year was 6,000 actually of Cupertino residents, because they're not really online. So we pivoted to everything virtual right away, which I was very thankful for, that we had lots of volunteers who helped us with that. And those young interns really can do that quickly. So we were able to do that. And we have so many virtual presentations for seniors online if you go to our website, but you have to drive the seniors to go to the website. And the seniors that we mostly target are the low income seniors and the seniors who need all of our other languages that we provide in our presentations. So they're not the ones who are going on to see that. So we were able still to reach them through our partners. We even sent out things in the mail this time, so that we used the mail. We sent things to physicians to put things out in their office, and we supplied our partners with information in several languages for them to hand out if people did come in to get lunches, for instance. So through all of that, we were able to still serve. But there's a huge need because seniors not only are not online and therefore are somewhat isolated from a lot of information, other than the terrible news on television, but also the caregivers need a lot of support. And we're hoping this year to do more for the family caregivers because they've been just so overwhelmed the last 2 years. So that's one of the new things we'd like to do.
Thank you. I think the last question I have, which you kind of segued into it. So do you go to the senior centers as well because they don't have access most of the seniors don't have either access to the online or even an online, they're not sophisticated to go and do it. Do you plan to, or your organization goes to the senior centers and to provide this breathing exercise or whatever them? Okay.
Yes, normally we go to our partner, all those different senior centers there, and also senior residences. Some of them have us come, and so we go in person. So it's been very difficult recently because we couldn't go in person because they were closed. But as I said, we used some innovative ways to just take the information to them to be delivered or to mail it and such. Some actually, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting which one it was, but one of our partners actually mailed it for us to their list of seniors. So we've been lucky with our partners.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Thanks for that.
And thank you for your answer. And I have a question. So in your application, you mentioned the funds will be only used for one event, but
no, that was was wrong. I don't know what happened. I think my cursor, I clicked on the wrong thing. It's a year-long program.
Okay.
Yeah, it's many events. We probably reach. We used to reach about 20 to 30 seniors. Some of the bigger centers, we'd reach 40 each time we would go do a presentation. Lately, it's been a lot less, especially the virtual presentations, or maybe 5 or 10. But it's our year-long program. It's not an event. I did notice that, but there wasn't anywhere to address it. So I'm glad you asked that question.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. Yeah, I don't have any other question. It looks like other commissioner, they don't have more question. So we can go to the next applicant. And thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you.
First, I would like to unmute. Next, I would like to introduce Tianhong Foundation, who is requesting money for the 2022 Tianhong Cross-Cultural Youth Art Contest, Love in My Life.
Yes. Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for staying late and also giving us this opportunity to present for the second time now Tianhong's annual Cross-Cultural Youth Art Contest. So Tianhong Foundation is a local nonprofit private operating foundation. So our focus is to promote, create, and facilitate cross-cultural art creation, appreciation, exchange, basically across different cultural backgrounds. So the annual Cross-Cultural Youth Art Contest is one of our annual programs to facilitate cross-cultural art creation and appreciation among young art community, mainly age 4 to 21. And we encourage creative thinking and independent art practice, reflecting each year's main theme. We award young art talents, especially around theme depth, artwork originality, and artistic technique. Next slide, please. So from year 2020 to 2021, we've seen the number of participants jumped up by 40%, and we've given out a total of 63 cash awards in the total amount of about $7,600. So the quality and also the level of participation really impressed us. So for 2022, we expect the participation will further increase as we'll further raise the awareness in the local community. And we also expect to double the number of encouragement awards and also the special awards. So our total budget estimate for 2022 is $12,650, of which we're requesting City of Cupertino to fund $4,500, which is about 35% of the total budget. And Tianhong Foundation will fund the rest. Next slide. And this is just a very brief list of all the participants from City of Cupertino. And, you know, very impressively, because one thing we found out is thanks to the funding from City of Cupertino, the awareness really helped push for participation from a local city. So bear in mind, the city funding was approved mid-July last year, and our Tianhong Foundation's art submission was due end of July. So the window wasn't really too big for folks in Cupertino to react to our ad and submit their artwork, right? So despite of that, we still see a huge jump in terms of submissions from Cupertino residents. And so in 2022, we believe participation from Cupertino will further increase, especially we had this holiday party.
15 seconds left.
In December, we had a lot of good participation from parents in Cupertino, and people showed lots of passion. So next slide. Just very quickly, one more slide. Some of the feedback from some of the contestants and family. So we're very excited, and we look forward to collaborating further with the City of Cupertino and hopefully make this program even more successful for local community. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Okay, Commissioner Kumaran.
Sorry, I may have questions on every one of them, but maybe I just pick it up few. So quick one on this one, Susan.
Yes.
You said that the last, specifically Cupertino residents, you put the list there and said the Cupertino participation is so much, and the awareness is, they got the awareness only very late. But I'm trying to understand if this program, irrespective of the funding, what other awareness program, because it looks like the awareness is only after it be funded. Is that, I'm not able to get it. What is the connection between the fund and the awareness, so that the participation? Otherwise, you could have expected more participation.
That's a great question. So in the past, because our program was not specifically targeted for Cupertino residents, so we basically put ad on Facebook, and majority of our contestants came from California, so we didn't really target Cupertino. But one thing we found out is once the funding was approved, and we actually added that to our ad on Facebook. And also, I think you guys also helped put a kind of a small news on your newsletter saying there's a local nonprofit doing art contest. So all of a sudden we've, had a lot of submissions from Cupertino residents, which is very encouraging. So.
I see. So, okay, but it's a global California level, but it was not focused on Cupertino. That's why you didn't see it. But now you think that more participation will come because people are already aware of it. Okay, so
exactly.
Yeah, that's the only question I had, it because I couldn't put the connection between these two.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
So are there any further questions?
Thank you guys so much for staying so late and hearing out.
So if there's no more questions, we can go to the next one. It looks like we are familiar with all these returning applicants. Thanks.
So next, I would like to introduce the Buddhist Tzu Medical Foundation. They are requesting money for Healthy Cupertino Health Fair. Jing, you'll need to unmute.
Hi.
There you
this
go.
is hi. I've been very nervous all night long. Dear commissioners, my name is Qingxin Wang. I'm the managing dentist from Sedgwick Foundation and I'm a resident of Cupertino over 20 years. I'm here to present Sedgwick Foundation Northwest Region Mobile Clinic. We're a faith-based nonprofit organization for over 50 years. The foundation, the founder is a Buddhist nun, Dharma Master Chen Yan, who teaches us to care and cherish the land we live on. Through our the volunteer work, our volunteers from all over the world and all religion have witnessed the power of healing when medicine works hand in hand in compassion and humanitarian relief. So next. Here are some photos from our past services to Paradise Fire victims, Santa Rosa, and from East Palo Alto Community Services. Next. Since our operation is volunteer-based, all of our 2021 grant money has been applied to replenishing dental supplies, which has been idle since 2020. And then we have COVID upgraded for our clinics and operation costs for our dental van and outreach insurances. Next. We will have our Overdue outreach event in Cupertino on March 27, 2022, which we will actually expand our service from dental service only to including medicine, vision, chiropractor, acupuncture, and internal medicine. So our volunteers has been actively reaching out to underserved communities of Cupertino. For example, through Farmers Market, West Valley Community Services, Cupertino Senior Center, Sunnyview Retirement Communities, and then Cupertino Library. We have been sending out flyers and then actively talking to patients, possible low-income patients, and schedule them for the upcoming service. So far, our appointments are 60% filled, and we have anticipated there will be many walk-ins. So during this event, we have already recruited more than 30 volunteers who will participate in service that day, and then who are resident of Silicon Valley. Everybody is very eager to give back to our community. We have received positive feedbacks from the Sunnyvale Senior Home, where they have indicated to me that our service will be very useful for their residents. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions? Commissioner Stanek.
Okay, I'll give one question. You did a fine job. No reason to be nervous. Thank you for staying with us as well. And I'm guessing you've been focused on your upcoming date, which is 3 weeks away. Do you have any update on when your date would be for the fiscal year that we're talking about?
We always set up our outreaches schedule like late in the fall. We currently would plan for twice a year for Cupertino. Yeah, we do it for other, it will be similar to our services to places like San Francisco, Oakland, all around the Bay Area.
Okay, so in the application, it said the date was TBD. So is that, will you do one in the fall and one in the spring? Or?
Yes, usually that's the case.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Kumarapan.
Sure. Thanks, Cheng, for the info. The one question I have is that this Healthy Cupertino Health Fair, which is the project, the fund is requested for, and you said that targeted for 50 participants, right? 50 people who can serve. Is
yes,
that?
And we're always open for walk-ins. So we are expanding. It should be more than 50 because before we're anticipating only dental. Now it will be chiropractic and vision and then acupuncture. We don't limit to ourselves. Yeah.
Okay, so the 50 is when you take it through the application or something, but you said walk-in is also allowed.
Yeah, it's appointment only. It's appointments, and then walking will be allowed.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
I have a question. So you said this event will serve the great Cupertino area. So could you let me know where is the location for this health fair?
It will be in the Quinlan Community Center.
Okay, will there be a whole day event or?
It will be a whole day event.
Okay, and I see the room rental fee is 2,000. So that's only for this one event, or you said you have multiple times?
For that, it should be an estimate. Sorry, I'm not the one who does the process, but I can look it up for you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. I have no more questions. Are there any more questions from commissioners? If not, we can go to the next one. And thanks for the presentation again.
Thank you.
Okay, next I would like to introduce Services for Seniors, Heart of the Valley, and they are requesting money for a COVID car kit. And Sylvia, you'll need to unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Thank you. Hi, commissioners. I'm so glad to be here to talk to you about our grant proposal, the COVID car kit. My name is Sylvia Aboud, and I'm the Executive Director of Heart of the Valley Services for Seniors Incorporated. On the next slide, you can see that we are a nonprofit facilitating, advocating, and supporting independent living for seniors 65 plus residing in West Santa Clara Valley. You can see our locations and the services we provide on this slide. We provide them 24/7 for 470 clients with the help of our 195 volunteers. On the next slide, we can see that our clients' basic needs have not been met for going on 3 years now during COVID. Doctors and medical appointments are 80% of all transportation requests by our senior clients. Our clients need medical attention, socialization, and home repairs. Our clients have been isolated since early 2020 and have put off much needed medical attention, resulting in many visits by ambulance to the ER for various life-threatening conditions. Seniors are not leaving their homes and they're watching really scary TV all day long. They're missing out on life and are losing time. The solution is the COVID car kit. We have 42 Cupertino clients who request a minimum of 4 services a month, which is just a bit over 2,000 services a year. We would like funding for 400 kits. Each kit is good for 5 services, which would be able to provide those 20,000 the 2,000 services safely. On the next slide, we can see the items in the COVID car kit along with their costs. All these items will be stored in 5 one-gallon Ziploc bags, and the 5 bags and the larger items will be placed into a larger Ziploc bag. Otherwise, everything's going to roll around in the car of the volunteer, and the volunteer will need to throw away the top 5 paper towels, for instance, just to get rid of the stained ones and messed up ones. And it'll just be a waste to not contain them. And we want both the client and the volunteer to know that the city of Cupertino is keeping them safe with a card in each one-gallon bag. The total cost for 2,000 services for 1 year is a little over $6,000. And the nice thing is that it's only a little over $3 per service. On the next slide, if we don't get funded, we'll still be able to provide services for our senior clients, but in the way we are doing that today, which is via no contact outdoor services only, like yard work, handyman services, hazardous waste disposal. And if they wish, they can go back to taxis, Uber, Lyft, or the bus, but for their medical appointments. But these options are not good ones, as none of those services provide PPE or sanitize the vehicle after each service. And they definitely don't treat our fragile clients the way our volunteers do. Our clients had very bad experiences with transportation services when they had to use them to get their vaccinations, as well as with repairmen that came into their homes. Without funding for the COVID car kit, we won't be able to take our clients to medical appointments or fix things around their homes. Without PPE and disinfectant, our clients would be too worried and scared to request the service, and our volunteers wouldn't choose to perform those services, and we at Heart of the Valley would not want to put our clients or volunteers into any situation where they could get hurt in any way. Please help our volunteers provide our transportation and in-home services safely to our Cupertino senior clients by funding Heart of the Valley Services for Seniors request for a COVID car kit. Thank you all so much. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions from commissioners? Looks like your application is pretty clear. Oh, we have Commissioner Stanek has a question.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's just a comment on the budget where you're listing all the items and the prices,
yes,
and the quantities. A couple of them don't seem to work out going across, and so I think it's not a big deal, but I think you might want to just check that worksheet to make sure that it's multiplying out the way it should be. I mean, where you have a quantity of 2,000, maybe that's, some of them say $1,000 per pack.
Yeah, I can make it more. sorry, I can make it more clear, but I did do the exact calculations because I would take the 12 pack of disinfectant, for instance, and break it down into one can and then multiply it by the number of services. And you know, one can would be 5 services. And, you know, so yeah, it's a little complicated, but we got it down to the right number. I'll put more explanation if you'd like me to resubmit it.
No, I think it's fine. You know, it's just something that you need to make sure that, you know, if you're asking us for $6,000, if that comes through, that you know what you're going to be providing.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Is there anything I can do to make it more clear so that we're more in the running?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Are there any more questions? I don't have a question, but I have one comment. It looks like in your application, the full legal organization name, you put your own name there by mistake. So when I search for your organization, I just cannot find. I remember I saw it, but when I go back, where is this organization?
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay. And thank you for your nice presentation.
Thank you all so much and for staying so late. We truly appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. We can go to the next one.
Okay, so next I would like to introduce the Chinese American Coalition for Compassionate Care, who's requesting money for mindfully facing grief and loss and starting the conversation.
Thank you very much. My name is Jeannie Wan, and I am the past board chair for the Chinese American Coalition for Compassionate Care. This is a brief overview of the coalition and our new project, Mindfully Facing Grief and Loss. Next. The Chinese American Coalition for Compassionate Care is the first and only coalition devoted to addressing end-of-life care concerns of Chinese Americans since 2005. We provide education and outreach to the Chinese community and to the healthcare professionals who serve them. Topics include advanced care planning, palliative care, and we offer training in respite, hospice, grief care, and mindful self-care. We're comprised of 200 local, state, and national organizations and over 2,000 individuals. Next. Our Mindfully Facing Grief and Loss project goal and objective is to develop complementary modules to mindfully address life, death, grief, and loss for the Chinese community who are experiencing grief and loss during these challenging times. The purpose is to engage and encourage participants to face and address their grief and loss by providing mindful approaches to loss and grief, and to foster positive mental and emotional health and well-being. Next. The community grant from the City of Cupertino will help develop this new project, and the program will help loved ones, family members, caregivers, and everyday people to be able to mindfully embrace life, death, and mindfully face grief and loss. 4 modules will be developed. Each module is a 2-hour workshop conducted in Chinese. 4 instructors will spend 9 months developing the project and 3 months in preparing the launch of the new 4-week training program. Next. The 4 modules are loss and grief, bereavement, mourning, and a life memory book. Next. Additionally, the coalition will build on the program successes of starting the conversation with our signature programs like advanced care planning, heart-to-heart cafe, mindful self-care workshop, and redefining what matters. We'll continue to train staff, case managers from other organizations who serve the Chinese community. And we'll continue to engage multi-generational Chinese families and caregivers. Next. This is our proposed budget allocation for $13,000 for the program, and it represents 20% of our program budget. And the next slide, or the following slides, are really
15 seconds left.
Thank you. Supportive documents for your consideration. And go ahead and click right through them. Click next, 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 next. And thank you for your time, and I'm welcome your questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions? Okay, Commissioner Kumaran.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I think you tested Rachel's speed at which she can do it, and I see that one next night. I was like, I see how she's going to miss the beat or not. No, great, thank you. One quick question is that last year is the same program as the last year, as per your application, and I'm trying to understand the expenses compared to last year and this year. The last year budgets in general overall, the professional services budgets were minimum, but now it is went up to 4,500 because you didn't know what it is. It says other professional services, 4,500 plus other services 900. So I'm trying to understand, is there anything new you are trying to do with the additional services? That's the reason that those expenses are increasing.
This is, are you referring to the professional services?
That's correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's reaching out to, we're actually in our redefining what matters. We are reaching out to East and West physicians from both sides, and as honorariums, we provide honorariums for their presentation.
Oh, they were never part of the last year program, is it?
They were, but we want to be able to provide a more robust
I see.
Presenter and faculty. But thank you for your question.
Yeah, got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I have a question. So in your request, you mentioned it is an event and it's also a one-time project. Could you explain so what exactly you need the funds for?
Thank you. That's a good question. And the funding is actually at one-time funding as the project development of the mindful program for grief and loss, because it's a one-time investment in developing the program. And once we develop it, we have it.
Okay, and here is another question. So the number of individuals served by this grant, you mentioned total number 5,000 and number of Cupertino residents 1,000. Could you explain how do you get this number?
We're sometimes shocked and amazed ourselves. Zoom has opened huge opportunities for us to reach a larger audience besides the Bay Area. And we try very hard to reach out to the local community. But when we post it on our website, it's open to the general public. And so we get people from Malaysia, Taiwan, and in China, because we're on Zoom, we offer it on hours that people from China, if you will, are able to, people in the Pacific area there, Asia Pacific area, are able to Zoom in to these classes, if you will. So the numbers, it surprises. We get people from the UK, and we're thinking, there's Chinese people in the UK? Yes, there are.
Okay, and thank you for your explanation. So I'm wondering if you provide service on Zoom, how to identify how many Cupertino residents are there get served?
And a wonderful question. It's the same thing that we provide when they log in and register. We ask, because part of our funding, we need to know where you're from. And so that's how we capture it.
Okay, got it. Are there any more questions? If no more question, yeah, thank you for your answer and for your nice presentation. We can go to the next one.
Okay, next I would like to introduce the Cupertino Bhubaneswar Sister City Initiative. They are requesting money for the Bhubaneswar Sister City event, Festival for Exchange and Immersion.
Good evening, and thank you so much, City Council members, commissioners, and the city officials for this opportunity for me to present, and also for the grant last year. My name is Mahesh Pekala. I'm the co-founder and the board member for the Cupertino Bhubaneswar Sister City Initiative. I just want to go through those points based on your evaluation list, like the impact. So we are expecting over 2,000 plus Cupertino residents to attend the event that we are organizing. That's happening actually on March 26th. And we also expect the Cupertino school children to get an opportunity to participate in our events. And also, in addition, the student exchange programs that we do to educate on different cultures. We also have partnered with the FALC, that's the Fine Arts League of Cupertino, to showcase, the artists will be showcasing their art as well as selling their art during our event. We also are giving this opportunity to the Cupertino Scouts to participate in the event and also get into this cultural exchange program. We also have partnered with the Dianza College, who are partnering with us, as well as the Rotary Club of Cupertino. And also we have partnered with the West Valley Community College last year actually to support the hunger programs as well. As for the second one, that's the community need. So basically, there is a need in this community for more people-to-people interactions. As you know what's happening in the environment today. So this kind of people-to-people interaction will generate awareness and respect, love for each other's culture through exchange immersion programs that we run. Our events and the projects that we do address this exact need. And as for the third one, the alignment, our program is aligned with city's mission and for service, education, and innovation and collaboration. It's aligned very clearly in that. And the uniqueness. So we actually, as we do this cultural exchange and student exchange, that itself is a pretty unique program in terms of that. And also we give opportunities to the artists in Cupertino, as well as we invite artists from across the US and from India, specifically so that's the thing. And as for the demonstration of other funding, me being the board member as well as an employee of Amazon, this year, Amazon has stepped up to fund the project. They are, as well as the other board members, were able to get some more grants like Excel test prep is
15
funding,
seconds left.
And Merivest and also ICICI. As for the qualifications, the board members have each of us have been in this very active social entrepreneurs and community organizers with more than 30 years of experience to ensure we represent the community and do what's good for the community. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you for your presentation. And Vice Chair Begor has a question. Yeah.
Sure.
For your presentation, I was looking at your application about student exchange. Can you talk a little bit more? Can you give us some detail about who went where, what kind of exchange program this is?
Yeah, so we had got like 2 years ago, students from Bhubaneswar, around, I think, I forget the exact number, but around 15 students had visited and attended Lindbooks High School and were staying with the local, what we call, host families in Cupertino. The following year, we were planning to send the Cupertino kids to Bhubaneswar. Unfortunately, the COVID came in, and that's why we couldn't do the program. But we are looking forward to hopefully the COVID this year will be better. Then we'll again reinitiate that program.
The students from Cupertino will go to Bhubaneswar. What is the school or what is the
school? So they are going from this high school to a high school in Bhubaneswar.
And what is the name of that high school?
The one that we had shortlisted is Sai International High School.
Was something about a need for emergency support in areas such as hunger. Can you describe a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So what happened is last year, because of COVID, we realized that there was a big need for supporting the local community. So we partnered with West Valley College, West Valley Community to make sure we did a small event and made sure all the donors, whoever, they can give directly to the West Valley community for the support.
Locally, not in Bhubaneswar,
No,
but
no,
locally.
Locally,
Okay.
yeah.
And then this year you are planning to do a cultural festival. Are you also planning to do like a student exchange program all in one?
You know, this one is a cultural exchange program that we do. This one we are doing this year, yes, and not the exchange program. The student exchange depends on the COVID conditions. If it lets us, if the parents and the kids feel comfortable, and we are just watching as to seeing what the status is. If that improves, yes, we will reinitiate that program, but we're hoping things will get to normal.
Funding that you're asking for is for the event specifically then?
Correct, right now, yeah.
Date, or is it still somewhere
Sorry?
next year? Do you have a date set up for this event?
Yeah. This one this one we are doing on March 26th. There's the last year's funding, but this year's we are hoping to do in September of next year. Next year, March or September. We are not yet clear on the availability, but we'll most likely we'll do it next March.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for your answer. Commissioner Kumarapan.
Sure. Thanks, Makesh. Two quick questions. One specifically, this time, the number of individuals who will be benefited or who will be served by this grant, it says about 3,000 people, number of individuals, or number of Cupertino residents is 2,000. But if it is a student exchange program, I do remember last time too that it is around 15 or 10. That's all it will help, correct? Because I don't know how these 2,000 numbers, and I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, this 2,000 is for the cultural exchange event that we are doing, the program. The Cupertino residents that will be attending is around 2,000 to 3,000 people will be attending that we're doing in the Memorial Park.
Oh, this is the event attendees.
Yes, correct.
Okay, not the beneficiaries directly, but it's event attendees. Okay, but that's a cultural event. But if it's a student,
they are the beneficiaries basically because they are the community members.
Oh, I see. So okay, maybe I mixed up. So the second one is the exchange one is 15. So because you put in both cultural event and student exchange. Student exchange is 15.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, we have been doing many things like we did a workshop as well because of the disaster management. The past manager, Dave, had asked us, we had organized a workshop. As you know, in India, Bhubaneswar, it's very well known, a lot of cyclones happen, tornadoes happen. They wanted to understand the process as to how they handle disaster there. So we had a kind of a exchange discussion on the internet because it's COVID again. What are the processes we follow? So we try to create this exchange between Cupertino and Bhubaneswar in different areas. And one more session that we had done is about how to do entrepreneurship-based thing as well. So we want to basically create this environment of exchange between India and US and create that feeling of, create the people-to-people interaction. That's the goal.
Thank you.
We just have about a minute left, and I know Commissioner Stanek has her hand up as well.
Yes. Commissioner Stanek, you can speak.
Thank you. Thank you. I know we have a number of sister city programs, and the city has, they actually, on the website, they provide a certain amount that has been set aside for exchange students. 5 to 9 is $2,500, and more than 10 is $5,000. Have you not received that ever?
Actually, I'm not. This financial, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't remember top of my head actually.
Okay, we'll just move on if you're not aware.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. And the other sister cities also have requested, I think it came up on one of the other organizations, fee waivers at Memorial Park. Are you receiving any fee waivers?
Yes, we do. Yes.
Okay, so those were not listed in your application that I saw. Okay, and I was looking for the clarity of some of the other commissioners there was like a number of different things that you said this was going to fund: the festival, the exchange, and hunger needs, and so it wasn't clear. So is this for a festival for next year? Is that what the funds are for?
Yes, this one, yes. But what we do, this festival, we take to see that it's a little challenging because we take this money to do the festival, but that also becomes a fundraising for us. For that funds that are raised during that event, extra whichever is saved, we use it for our student exchange programs and other initiatives.
Okay, thank you. Okay, but so it would be good to understand how this interacts with other programs that the city offers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. There are no more questions.
Great.
We go to the next one. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for hearing me out and spending a long night. I really appreciate it. You're doing a great service for the city. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, next I would like to introduce UFRAT Museum of Art with De Anza College. They're requesting money for the UFRAT Museum of Art exhibitions and events.
Good evening. I'm Diana Argabright, the director of the UFRAT Museum of Art at De Anza College. As Cupertino's only art museum, the UFRAT serves the community through one-of-a-kind art exhibitions, events, special projects, and outreach through our Arts and Schools program. Next slide. And here's an installation view of the most recent exhibition, Common Ground. The artists examined constructed and unseen borders and boundaries that spoke to our shared needs for kindness and resilience. It was curated in alignment with Silicon Valley Read's 2022 theme and books. Next slide, please. And a work from the show from artist Nylan Tho's Natural Air series made the cover of the Cupertino Courier and an art and poetry publication. Next slide. Here's an overview of planned exhibitions and a collaborative public artwork for next year. The Fall Animals in Art show will include this painting, Geese in Whole Foods. A local artist's play on where the geese go when the water features in Memorial Park are dry. Next slide, please. The funds awarded will go towards exhibition and related event expenses. Plans include the purchase of a used fiberglass life-size tiger form that will be collectively painted by Cupertino artists and shared in public spaces. Next slide. Currently in progress, Migration, Kindness, and Resilience is an 8 by 10 foot mobile mural, printed mural that will also serve as a selfie station. It'll combine images of monarch butterflies and native plants with symbols for kindness, resilience, and hope. Next slide. 82 fifth graders from West Valley Elementary in Cupertino did line drawings about transformation through education. They'll be on the wings of the largest butterflies. The students were inspired by author Reina Grande's life story. Next slide. Here's some of the artists from the Fine Art League of Cupertino with their monarch paintings. They were a really important partner. Each painting tells a story. For example, the flames and sprout on that butterfly reflect on the wildfires, regrowth, and resilience. And the UFRAT itself provides a place where community can gather and engage. Next slide. The recent public poetry project, Hope and Solace, featured a series of banners at the perimeter of Stevens Creek and Stelling. Now underway, a new mural on campus by De Anza art students working with the museum. Culture and creativity are essential for vibrant, sustainable cities like Cupertino. Thanks so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your nice presentation. Are there any questions from commissioners? Okay, Commissioner Kumarapan.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. So one question is that last year, I know given the COVID situations, did you see people coming into that visiting the museum, or how does that last year funding was spent, and because I know I looked at the application, I couldn't see it. So it'll be good to.
So for last year, you're talking?
Yes.
Yeah. Last year, of course, the college was closed. And so everything had to be online. So there were virtual exhibitions and programs. And then because the college was closed and I wanted to see art happen, that's why a public art project was initiated and put out on Stelling and Stevens Creek. Does that answer your question?
Sure, partly, but that's okay. But this particular year, your specific budget ask is going to focus on, and some other things in the slide you mentioned, getting those art and then making it as a public display. Is that?
Yeah, well, we are back in person and open to the public. So there will be in-person exhibitions. And then I just really wanted to continue this tradition of a collaborative public art piece by different Cupertino artists, and also combining fifth graders to adults, because just to get the art out there so people would see it. So if they're not coming into the museum as much because of the pandemic, then I'm bringing the art out into the community.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your answer.
Yeah, that's the one. Can go in the driveway.
So if there's no more other questions, I have one question to our staff. And so for the returning applicants, we just see some event, just like the repeating event after several, after we funded several times. And I just want to make it public because before this meeting, I was confused about the criteria of the community funding program, why a project can only be funded once, but if it's an event, we can do that several times. So if for any event we can fund them several times, is it still defined as community funding or maybe a city-sponsored event? I'm just a little bit confused about the definition.
Oh, does the staff person want to answer that? May I also just say that?
That is for staff.
Oh.
I'm not totally sure what you're asking, but basically, if you guys remember the conversation from last year when we were talking about eligibility, which of course will be our next meeting, there was conversation about the fact that events have historically been funded more than once, whereas a project is usually a one-time, one-year thing. So the projects don't usually carry over and over again. The exhibits for something like UFRAT are different each year, so it's not the same project. They may be doing exhibits again, but they're completely different, and that's what their organization does. So it really was from the commission and from council and their expectation of that criteria. However, I will let you know, we are constantly looking at this program and constantly figuring out, what the actual expectation is from both you and city council.
Okay, thank you for clarifying the interpretation on behalf of the city staff. Yeah, and if there's no more questions, we can go to the next one.
Okay, next I would like to introduce Monte Vista High School Speech Boosters, who is requesting for the Monte Vista Speech Program.
Evening, everyone. I would love to introduce myself. My name is Gavin Wong. I'm the head speech coach here at Monte Vista High School. Been here for the last 6 years and also a returning alumni as part of Monte Vista High School class of 2013. I would love to also introduce my counterpart, Miss Raji Mahalingam. Raji, are you on the call today? All right. If Raji's unable to...
I'm here. Are you able to hear me?
Raji, I can hand it over to you and I'll wrap up with the last 3 slides.
Okay, thank you, Gavin. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for giving us this opportunity. I am Raji Mahalingam, and I am the president of the Monte Vista Speech Boosters, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the mission to support and strengthen the speech program and community at the Monte Vista High School. Our program priorities are to support our students in their goal to continuously improve their public speaking and argumentation skills. You can actually show us, you can go to the next slide. Increase team participation and success, provide coaches and resources to inspire learning, expand the reach of the Monte Vista speech program. And as you have seen that, last year to this year, we have adapted to COVID environment, and we've been doing things so that we can support hybrid as well as online, as well as in-person teaching. The three main purposes of requested fund are to strive to provide excellent public speaking education and competition opportunities for our growing student body despite declining member donations during the COVID pandemic. What do we do? Hire and support additional coaches, instructors, hire additional tournament supervisors, invest in speech and instructional materials. Membership is expected to hit 150 students in 2022-23. The second one is to broaden the summer camp to increase the level of professional coaching and encompass several branches of public speaking, and it is open to all incoming FUHSD freshmen. And lastly, to initiate speech scholarships to provide financial aid to deserving Monte Vista High School students for participating in summer camp and tournaments. Now I'll hand it over to our head coach, Gavin Wong.
Thank you, Raji. So if we don't mind going to the next slide, please. I'll just glaze over this really fast, is that the Monte Vista speech team, we're doing extremely well, 4th in California. Recently, we recently competed at the UC Berkeley tournament this past weekend, which is the largest speech and debate tournament west of the Mississippi, and we received first place in the public speaking events. I'll go to the next couple slides and we can just glance through them, but I just wanted to show you pictures of the team. As I'm working with the students, I ground myself in what we're doing here for the students, and what we're doing is we are building future leaders here for Cupertino.
15 seconds.
Basically through critical thinking and public speaking skills. And lastly, here is a nice picture of them at the UC Berkeley tournament, virtual, but we'll be going in person to these tournaments next year. Thank you so much for your time. Love and happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for your presentation. Is there any question from commissioners? Commissioner Kumarapan.
Sure, thank you. One question is that last time I think we funded 3K at the same program, and at the time it was overall beneficiaries. I don't remember how many. So right now the goal is to have 4,464. It says the number of students we plan to. Maybe Gavin or Raji, can you help address how many we helped last year with the funding we had?
Yes, are you able to hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
We helped 4,686 students last year, and it was mainly 2,350 students from Monte Vista High School, grades 9 to 12, Kennedy Middle School, 1,198 students, and Lawson Middle School, 1,138 students. And this year it's approximately similar, but just very few declining enrollments, so it's around 4,684.
I see. So the last time funding was requested and okay, I see. So right now the main funding is going to the coaches which you plan to hire because of the declining enrollment.
Correct. Yes, it's academic resources which are mainly for the coaches.
Great.
And that's the only main thing is coaches and chaperones, the FUHSD chaperones that we have to pay. And then there are very few other operating costs such as Zoom licenses, and then project management tools and things like that. But that's very minimum. Mainly it's the coaches.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of leading to the next question. I hopefully these all will be in person, I believe, this year because the schools are allowing.
That's right. This year itself, it was hybrid. It was Mondays online and Tuesdays in person. But for the next oncoming academic year, it will all be in person, hopefully.
Great. And the last question is it only for the freshmen, you said, if I remember correctly, FUHSD, or for anyone?
Oh, this is for Monte Vista High School, 9th to 12th graders. But the summer camp is mainly for the freshman students to get them ready for the speech, to get them introduced to the speech categories and to get them ready for the speech when they come in at 9th grade.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Stanek.
Thank you. I think there's a confusion. The difference between how many students there are at the school versus how many are members of your speech and debate club. So it looks like there's about 110 students who are actively participating. Is that correct?
This would be 110 for Monte Vista High School, and then we have about 150, 160 at the Kennedy Middle School.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not 4,000 students who are participating in this program. It's available to that many students, but you are actively working with 110 students at Monte Vista?
Correct. It is open for 4,000 odd students, and it is available because it's application based. They choose to get into this club.
Okay. That clarifies it a lot. I believe last year you requested $3,000 for scholarships and $10,000 for coaches, and what was approved was $3,000. And so I was reading through your materials, and it said something about the scholarship program was a work in progress. Could you describe what happened with the scholarship program and how the money ended up going for coaches?
So last year we partially used it for coaches, and we got $5,000 from a donor, and so we were able to use that money for scholarships, and so we used the $3,000 for the coaching, which is what we had actually originally said, because we thought we can take $3,000 from the $10,000, and that's how we used it. In fact, based on that, this year we applied $10,000 so that it can all be applied towards the academic resources, which is the coaching expenses.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need to know.
Thank you.
And thank you for your answer.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Are there any more questions? Yeah. If no, you can go to the next one.
Okay, next I would like to introduce the Rotary Club of Cupertino, who's requesting money for the Silicon Valley Fall Festival.
Great. So it's been a long, thank you. It's been a long evening so far, so I'm going to try to keep this very short. I'll start with a little background on the Rotary Club of Cupertino. Cupertino Rotary was founded in 1955, the same year as the city. We have 200 members from business, nonprofits, and government in the club. And we are a completely volunteer-run organization. We have no paid staff, no executive director, et cetera. So your money is well spent. Our club does over 60 community and educational projects locally every year, from speech contests to snow in the hills here for the children with disabilities, et cetera. And most of the projects are hands-on, as well as funded. So the funding is important, but we also do a lot of hands-on. Next. So we're talking about the Fall Festival. The Fall Festival was started in 1982, a long time ago, as an Oktoberfest with beer and pub bands, etc. It was changed to the Golden Jubilee for Cupertino's 50th birthday and the club's 50th birthday in 2005. And it's evolved over time, and now it's really a family-oriented, but also very educational community festival. We're always trying new things. Last year, we partnered with the Boy Scouts, who staffed over 25 youth-oriented interactive booths. Next, please. So why community grant funding? There's a lot of festivals. You already heard from another festival. What's different about the Fall Festival? So there's some direct community benefits here. We do a health and safety fair, including 10 plus booths provided free to the city that replaced quite a long time ago a previous standalone fair that the city had at a larger expense and with less people there. We do 20 to 25 environmental partners, including some of the ones that that I also heard apply earlier, and they're provided a booth at no charge. And this complements the city's April Earth Day event. So we've got the Earth Day in the spring, and we've got Fall Festival in the fall. And then for the last few years, we've done 10 free booths to the Cupertino Library Foundation's Teen Commission for their projects. So basically, unlike the other festivals that are celebrating great community things, we want to bring the community together, but there's a very strong educational part to this as well. So as you saw in what I sent in, I show you some of the projects many of the projects that were done with the money, but it's really these direct benefits that I think make us unique and make us different. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Thank you for your nice presentation. Are there any questions from Commissioner? I didn't see any questions. Yeah, looks like we are so familiar with this fall festival.
Well, we're always trying to keep it fresh. And so the nice thing is last year we were the second one to go live post-COVID. And people were ready to come out and meet and do things. And it was important for all of us. And we're looking forward to this year when it'll be even more people out there. We still had some people who were timid about bringing out their booths and all that. So we're looking forward to a great festival and moving ahead with the city. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. And I see Commissioner Kumarapan has a question.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Well.
Hey, all right. So yes. Thank you. Quick question. It used to be Cupertino Fall Festival. Now the application is a Silicon Valley Fall Festival. I'm trying to understand, is there any
actually officially, so last year we added a nighttime element to it. So it's a day and night festival. I just kept it as the Fall Festival. So we changed the name to Silicon Valley a while ago to, give it a little broader, especially as I reach out for sponsors, our corporate sponsors, which you do. Silicon Valley Fall Festival has more cachet than Cupertino Fall Festival, but it's the same.
I see. Okay, so the program wise, it's the same, but
it's a branding issue.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, so if there's no more questions, we can get to the next one. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next I would like to introduce West Valley Community Services, who is requesting a grant for the Gift of Hope 2022 program.
Thank you so much, staff, and thank you, Commissioner. My name is Sujata Venkatraman, and I am the Associate Executive Director at West Valley Community Services. As you all know, West Valley Community Services is a local safety net organization serving Cupertino and the West Valley region. We provide basic needs services, which includes weekly grocery pickup, rental and utility assistance, case management and supportive services, connecting people to public benefits, to Medi-Cal and any other resources. We work with a number of partners who presented today, including Cupertino Rotary. We are requesting funding for Gift of Hope. As you all know, this program supports low-income families who are struggling, and during the holidays, this struggle becomes even more difficult. When people are struggling to pay rent and their utility, trying to support their family during the holiday gets even more difficult. Gift of Hope has been run for many years, and this program helps to buy groceries for families during the holiday to make it a little bit more special. Basic need items like toiletry, personal items like jackets, socks, and small household items like a mixer or an electric shaver. This program supports Cupertino low-income folks. With the $10,000 that we get for this program, we are able to support nearly 300 individuals. We buy gift. We have a process where we talk to each of the individual clients, ask them for their need, and try to buy the gifts that they're looking for themselves or the family. With the pandemic and loss of income, rent increases even more. A support like this from the city will benefit Cupertino residents. We serve both housed and unhoused clients, and it'll be hugely beneficial to have this kind of support to make sure that families are able to then save the money towards rent and other basic needs. So thank you. I'm open to any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions? Yeah. Thank you for your long time serving our community. Yeah.
Thank you for
Glad
supporting.
everyone are familiar with Western Valley Community Services.
And thank you all for your long time support. Thank you for the city staff always working with us. So appreciate for this partnership.
Okay, so if no questions, yeah, we can finish.
Yes, so last but definitely not least, I'd like to introduce the Silicon Valley Jewish Film Festival, and they're requesting money for the Silicon Valley Jewish Film Festival.
Good evening. Thank you so much for staying so late. I could hardly make it. I was in touch with Rochelle if I could. What happens if I don't? But I'm happy I did, so thank you. This is our 30th year that we've been around. This is coming into our 31st year. We have been all around the Bay Area. We serve anywhere from Palo Alto, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, San Jose. And Cupertino is where our offices are and where most of our donors and our ticket buyers are from. During the 2 years of COVID, we've had 2 festivals that the numbers have grown. We had this year around 20,000 viewers in our festival, even more than what we always had in the theater. So that's nice. The way we measure it, we know who's buying our tickets, where our donors are from, and we do a survey to see how many people are looking at the movies. So this is how we get to the numbers. We're still not sure if this year we will go back to the theater, but we are sure that we will be virtual. We may be considered doing a hybrid festival, so that will be face-to-face maybe, some of the movies with the talent, and for sure a lot of the movies will be virtual. We see that our audience is enjoying this and actually seeing way more movies than they used to in the previous years. We are hoping to get your help this year also. We want to continue bringing the talent and bringing more programs. We usually show 30 movies in a 15-day festival. So if it's going to be in the theater, it will be in October, November. And if it's not, we will also stay probably in the October, November time slot. We also, during the year, give our donors and our supporters movies that we call it year-round program. So we send them movies to watch at home. So I think that is what I wanted to say. We hope to get your support this year.
Thank you for your presentation. And I see Vice Chair Begar has a question.
Yeah, hi, thank you for your presentation. I have a very basic question. Last year we gave you 5K. It was, and then from your application this year, you want 10K. Can you explain what changed?
We lost some donors this year. We lost a few big donors. This because some of them moved away. Some of them moved to Israel. Some of them moved to Dallas. So we already are starting the year knowing that some of our higher donors have left. So that's mainly the main reason. Also, we see from the first year of COVID, it was pretty easy and nice to get talent. Everybody was at home. Everybody was doing it not for free, but for very, very cheap, the Zoom things. And this year we see that they're asking as if they're gonna be here face to face. So every actor or director or any talent we bring, the prices are going higher than it was on the first year of COVID. So that's the two main reasons why I asked for more.
So last year you were pretty much, okay, thank you for that answer. And I was just in my head moving on, so I should explain that. The other question I have is that, so last year you were pretty much virtual, right? You did not have a chance to be.
It was all virtual, correct.
It was all virtual.
Yes.
And so basically because of your donors and because you expect to be in the movie theaters, you think your costs will go up from the actor's perspective? Can you be a little bit more clear about that?
Well, if we go back to theaters, the first year of COVID, we saw that a lot of these talent usually would take between $200 and $500 for being on a Zoom call, for example. This year, we already saw a lot of them doubled it, if not tripled it. So it doesn't really matter this year if we'll be in the theater or not for the actors or directors or the amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that the first year of COVID, every movie we take from the distributor, at the first year of COVID, everybody said, okay, we'll give you a movie, this to get the movie out that people will actually see. So everything's changed the second year of COVID. Everybody became more, this is how it's gonna look, let's raise the prices.
And just to be clear, your film festival is only between October and November in the year, and that's it. I mean, like the films are not available even online after.
We do a 2-week festival in October, November, but we also have a year-round program that we submit to people to watch movies at home.
I see. Okay.
We used to do it. We used to do it at the Blue Light when it still existed in Cupertino. That was our teen screen. We did a senior year-round program, but now we send it to people to enjoy in their house.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I just want to do a time. Sorry, we have 3 minutes left, and I know 2 commissioners have.
Yeah, and Commissioner Remy, you can ask a question.
Thank you very much, Chair Shu. I had the similar questions as Commissioner Begor. Maybe because I was not part of this commission last year, I have some gaps in my knowledge. Did I hear you say that you pay these actors money to come and talk? I'm not entirely sure where the budget is going. Can you enlighten me a little bit about that? If you're paying the actors 10,000 seems too less, but if you're not, then where is the money really going?
So a lot of the money goes to show these movies to the distributors to even get permission to show the movie. So for example, if we have a movie, for example, if somebody's taking the movie The Schindler's List, you have to pay the distributor to show the movie. If it's for 24 hours or for 2 hours in the theater, it still costs thousands of dollars to have it. In addition to that, we have to pay talent that come in. So in years that we were not in the, when we were in the theater, we had to pay for their flights, hotel rooms, and pay them actually honorarium. But in the COVID case, we still are paying for all this.
I'm sorry, maybe I'm still not clear. Do you have to pay the actors if the movies are done? You're paying them honorarium?
I'm paying them to come and talk to the audience, not that they're in the movie. I'm paying them to come and actually participate in the film festival.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Stanek.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. I'll try to make this quick, but I think there's some really important points here. On in your application, you say that tickets and movie passes are available for a charge. What are the fees for the tickets and movie passes? I know there's a range, but
yeah. So a ticket is $10. We give kids and teens free passes, and the passes to watch all the movies. So if we have 30 movies, we give it a pass for $250.
Okay, so when I looked at the budget for next year, I did under the income. I can see all the revenue from the passes, from $250 up to $20,000 for a film mogul, but I don't see a line item for the individual ticket revenue.
Right. This year we didn't make any money from movie tickets. We had to pay our virtual company, the Film Festival Flix, it's called. So actually they made the money for all the tickets that we sold. So it was $25,000 to use their platform. So just to make it clear, like Netflix have a platform. So we had to hire a company that put our movies on, and all the ticket money that people bought went to them. So we did not make money.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so the ticket revenue from, I guess, about 20,000 people at $10 each went to Netflix.
So some of the money are from donors. So the 20,000 people, 10,000 households that signed in, some of them are ticket buyers and some of them are donors. So all the income from the ticket buyers went to the company called Film Festival Flix.
Okay, I was just trying to understand. I mean, it looks like there's a total of 203 patrons from the revenue side, between $250 and $20,000 each. But then there's that jump to the 20,000 people that you say are participating. And I don't see, it's very confusing. I don't see revenue for that.
So all these donors get passes, all of these donors. Right. So a lot of these participants are our donors. So most of the people who actually watch our movies are supporters.
Okay, I just, it's hard to see from your statement how that gets to 20,000, but I think that's the last question I have about that. Thank you.
Okay, and I have some information related to other commissioners' question. I found last year's application. It says the event budget is 333,000, and this year that's 358,000. And last year you requested funds is 10K, but we only partially funded 5K. And this year you still request 10K. And I assume if the movie festival is in theater, the cost maybe should be different from virtual, but looks like the budget for in the pandemic and before and after, that's almost the same. Could you explain this?
The budget before the pandemic was $470,000. That was more than 2 years ago.
Okay.
I don't think at the time we applied for a grant. I think we applied our first time when the COVID began to Cupertino. Since COVID began, our budget went way down. So we don't have the expense of the theaters like we used to. And the marketing went down because we didn't know if we can even survive.
Got it. Thank you for your answer.
You're welcome.
Okay, seems there's no more questions. And now, if any comments from community members, you can raise your hand. Any community members, if you want to say something about this agenda item, feel free to talk. You have 3 minutes each. Looks like nobody raised your hand. And I think, so tonight is only for commissioners to ask a question. We are not assumed to have our discussion on this agenda item. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so that means we finished this agenda item, this long item. Okay, we can go to our next new business. That's evaluation process for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023. Oh, no, this, evaluation process for the fiscal year 2022 to 2023 community funding grant program.
So surprise, it's me again. Okay, let me find my other screen that disappeared. It's not nice. My computer now is not happy with me anymore. Too many presentations.
While Rochelle is taking a minute here to get this together, I just want to extend my gratitude for all the time and effort she put in on this item, because it is massive to deal with all the organizations and groups and put the presentations together. So just wanted to extend my thanks, but now you can take it away.
Not to complain, but for those of you who were here last year, I miss Whitney. She was my partner in crime on this one. But I appreciate everything Kevin's given me in the way of help. He's been a lifesaver. Okay, so let's talk about April. So the community funding evaluation process. So, you guys are in my screen. The presentation, sorry, this presentation will explain the background, evaluation process, and eligibility. At this meeting, the 21 applicants for the fiscal year 2022-23 Community Funding Grant Program had the opportunity to attend, provide additional information on their requests, and answer any clarifying questions from commissioners. Prior to the meeting, staff reviewed all submitted applications for completeness and eligibility determined by compliance to the community funding policy. The commission was provided with all applications as well as the staff evaluation forms. At the April 1st regular meeting, the commission will facilitate the evaluation process and will provide a funding recommendation to City Council. After receiving public comment on the item, commissioners will discuss their initial thoughts and finalize their evaluation form, attachment A, before providing their total out of 100 for each application. Staff will take the totals from each commissioner and compile them into the evaluation totals form, attachment B, and the commission will proceed with other business or take a short break to allow staff time to organize the data provided by the commissioners. When the commission returns to the item, there will be another opportunity for public comment specifically regarding evaluations. The commission will continue the discussion of the data utilizing the evaluation totals form, will have the opportunity to adjust rankings accordingly, and will determine a funding recommendation for City Council. Staff concluded that 20 applications fully met eligibility requirements and 1 application was pending eligibility, requiring further consideration by the commission. This is reflected in the community funding application summary, which was item 2, attachment B. Final eligibility of applications will be determined by the commission during the evaluation process. Please remember that eligibility, no matter what was determined by staff originally, is up to the commission and how the commission perceives what you approved in the community funding policy. Any applications deemed eligible should be evaluated according to the given criteria. Any applications deemed ineligible should be given a score of 0. The commission will be able to review the scores during the evaluation process and discuss eligibility further as a group. And if there's any questions.
Oh, thank you for your presentation. And I see Vice Chair Begor has question.
Yeah. Just first of all, thank you.
We can't hear your sound again.
Yeah, it looks like you have audio problem again.
Yeah. I'm talking, you can't hear me?
Well, you're breaking up.
Okay. Thanks for your presentation.
Maybe you need to log in again. We ask your Gaopao to ask first, and you can try to fix your audio.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So thanks, Rachel. I think as Director said, I think it's putting together itself is like 400 plus pages of the one you and Kevin. Awesome, thank you. Couple of quick questions. I know these eligibilities are okay. I think we have some more questions. We will do it when we really get into the eligibility part of it. The funding and the allocation for the new, if you could refresh my mind. I think last time we did it and we say how much we typically plan to do for the new applicants and what for the returning. And can you have that also refreshing? If you have a slide, or can you refresh your mind on what was that we decided last time?
It is on your summary sheet. The funding range is 70,000 to 90,000, and that's for everybody. But if you remember last year, we went up to 92.9, and then council added more. So, I mean, however you guys feel like bringing your recommendation to council.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, my question, I was not clear on the question. I see the amount on that, but did we put in there some specific percentage for the new applicants, or did we segregate it between the new applicants and the returning?
No, they're only segregated at this point so that you can tell who's who.
I see. Okay, got it. Yeah, because I know we went with the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 kind of. That's the one model I do remember. But I'll go through those again. You sent the documents, but I couldn't really check it out. Thank you.
It's a lot. I totally understand.
Commissioner Stanek.
Hi. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure when we rank them next month, I think one of the things that we've done is we've ranked by the raw score, but also by the relative ranking. So that those people who are easy graders don't end up skewing, or hard graders don't end up skewing towards one way or the other. And so the relative rank becomes more important. So I just wanted to make sure that we'll be doing that again.
Yes, in your attachment, the page that shows the kind of yellow Excel sheet, that's the one where we ranked them like that. So we will have the exact same 3 sections as we had last year for rankings.
Okay, and Rochelle and I did have some communication today. I had asked for an Excel version of the evaluation form to be sent to us earlier than with the next packet, so that those of us who like to get ahead of things or who think we may forget some of the salient points, that we can fill it out while the presentations are fresh in our mind. And so hopefully we'll have those, that Excel version, that it will sum it for us, so we don't have to be worrying about things being added up in a odd way. Trying to think if there was anything else that I was thinking of. That's all for now. Thanks.
Okay. Vice Chair Bigger, you can try again.
I hope you.
Sorry, we still cannot hear you. Yeah, maybe you can write it down and share with us.
Try the phone.
Let me try.
So sorry, we have to let Commissioner Kumarapan ask the question again.
Yeah, it looks like I'm getting a substitute for every time when Commissioner says she had a problem, I'm getting an option here. So I don't know, I'm just passing on to it. So no, the only thing is, I know Commissioner Stanek asked this question and I just want to understand the relative ranking. Can you or Commissioner can explain? I forgot what that relative ranking we did it. It'll be good someone, either Commissioner, you can help me.
Cheryl explains it very well, so I'll let her.
Please, please. I forgot. So it's my memory is lost.
Yeah. So one way to do it is to take the raw scores, somewhere between 0 and 100, and add them all up for the 5 commissioners, and see who gets the top score and the bottom score, and rank them that way. The other way is to look at where each commissioner ranks each of the projects, and then add the rankings up so that we can see where things fall. And it may or may not have a significant difference, but it is useful, especially if there is a difference in the way people are scoring, that some people may score something, maybe their lowest score is 75 or 80, and another person's lowest score is 20. And so even though someone else's low score of 70, that may still be higher than the tough graders score, and that they're putting their third most important or priority project at number 3, but they only gave it a score of 70. So you look at the rankings and compare them that way. I hope that helps explain it.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. I think now I remember, because it's we can use all the 100, and then sometime we use, okay. Now, last time we had those challenges. Thanks for rekindling my memory. Appreciate it.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Yeah, please.
But it looks like, I think the questions I wanted to ask have been asked, because I could hear you guys. You just couldn't hear me, so I'm good. I don't have any questions. I had better connection in India than I do sitting here in Cupertino. Cannot explain this. But
I see Commissioner Stanek has a question again.
Yeah. So I do have a question about, as we go through them, in our own minds, if we think that a particular application should be ineligible, then we should just score it as 0 and then come and present that to the other commissioners and for discussion. Is that how we should do it?
Yes, please. And that's another reason that we're doing the ranking the way you just explained, is because if somebody does think they're ineligible and scores at 0, it's a little more fair if we rank it, so that it's weighted ranking. But yes, please, if you think anyone is ineligible, rank them with a 0, and then you will all have a conversation about it in April, and you may change your mind or you may leave it the exact same way.
So if we get convinced, say, someone thinks that a particular project should be ineligible, so they give it a 0, but then we have a discussion, we say, no, we think they should be eligible, that commissioner could go back and actually give it a number ranking on the actual criteria. So maybe, even if you do think that there is an ineligible one, you might also want to rate it on the various criteria and keep that in your back pocket so that you're not starting out from scratch. I mean, and you may rank it however you want to rank it, but, or, you know, give it numbers, however you want to numbers, but at least you've got some numbers in mind because the commission is deciding that it should be rated.
Correct. And you should have the Excel sheet in your emails. It matches the PDF that was attached to the agenda packet.
Thank you. I just heard a little bell ring.
Thank you.
You've got mail.
And Vice Chair Vigor.
And hopefully you can hear me now.
Yes, yes.
Oh, yeah. I better ask quickly. So we're doing the 2 rankings. Are we doing like a top? I mean, obviously the total budget here is 300 something, but we only can fund 70 or 90K. So, oh, what?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Somebody was nodding. I'm like, no way. Any case, so the question is, are we doing 2 separate funds or are we listing 1 to 21?
Yeah, it's 1 to 21. It's everybody together once we get to the rankings.
Okay. And then, okay.
And then, in that, then we can draw a line and say, this is what we want to recommend to council. That's kind of what we did last year. We put them all top to bottom, and then we kind of saw, you know, where does 70,000, where does 90,000 go? Where does, you know, where are we comfortable drawing that line? And we happened to find it at about 92, and we sent it on, and lo and behold, they agreed with that. So we can see where, you know, and if there's more that we think should be going in, then, you know, we can, I mean, it's just a guideline, that 70 to 90, and then council does whatever they want with it anyway. But
sure,
we can present what we think should be funded to them.
So you also when we don't have to fund in full. You can talk about how much you want to fund.
Sure. So let's just say we funded, you know, 10 projects and they came up to 90. So are we saying then, and for, you know, surprise, you know, all 5 of us thought exactly the same way we came up to 90. Are we basically saying 0 for the rest? Are we actually, you know, if I decide I want to fund 10 projects, then I just zero out the rest?
You mean when you're ranking them?
Yeah, I mean this ineligible.
No. Rank everybody unless you think they're completely ineligible for even being ranked. So you're gonna everybody, so we got to put all 5 of you together.
Okay, but then there was one. There was the Cancer Society that we don't know what they are. I mean, how are we going to define if they're eligible or not eligible, because they're planning to do it in March, did they say? Or I got some date confused. June.
It's up to you guys. I will tell you, they are a reoccurring festival with us, so they are yearly. They're not a one-time thing. But it's up to you guys based on, you know, how you feel about the application.
Okay, great. That's good to know. Okay, that's all I had. My audio cooperated so far.
Great. So this time, Commissioner Kumarapan will ask a question after you.
Yeah, because I was mind reading, so I was asking all her questions because she couldn't talk and I was doing it, but this time, sorry. So one question, Rachel, is the fund allocation, and in the stack ranking, I think Commissioner Stanek already touched on that. So when we do a stack ranking, we will do for everyone in general, 1 tier, and the draw a line based on the 70 to 90K, and then based on the additional fund they can, last time we said that we recommended to the council that they can go to the next next whatever in the stack ranking. But I know commission at the time council took a different decision that, okay, we will allocate all of them and the rest or all will get 50% of whatever they asked. I think that's how it went, and that's why the overall budget, when the commissioner said she asked 300 whatever, I think that's what it is. Originally we were told that it's only 90K. The question, coming to the question, so that's originally was still 90K, but a lot of things were allocated. I want to understand what is the actual budget so that we can go and finish the work. Is it not going to be available to us, or?
So the funding range that we've been given is 7 to 90, but City Council has final agreement on both the budget and what the funding is going to be. So we can't actually say they'll only go to 200,000. I don't know. The funding range we have been given from council is 70 to 90,000. I will tell you though, it was 2 years ago that they went and did the, 50% for everybody else. It was last year that they actually funded everything you said and then added the Monte Vista Music Boosters.
Yeah, no, the reason I asked that question, maybe I think it's maybe staff you can ask and maybe the council check it out, because it's helpful. We did a lot of homework in really stack ranking on, even if you have a 5K, can you give it to that next? And if you have a 10K, then you can go to the next kind of, we did all of them. But at one point, looks like doesn't matter. So after that one particular line, the rest are all, it's okay that everybody got it, but we did so much work on stack ranking on every one. And that work we felt, I don't know if it was currently useful or not.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I can comment. I listened to the council meeting and they struggled with this as well. There are some council members that say, the commission has done all the work. We shouldn't be second guessing. We've asked them to do the work and present it to us to approve. And I think last year they went more along that line, and that's why they took our recommendation. The year before that it was very interesting because they kind of, especially because they funded everything that we suggested to them. And then for everything else, they didn't even have the packet or the application from those organizations. And they still said, let's fund it 50%. And so it was a very unusual year. And I think they have had a lot of discussion of the fact that they have given this requirement to us to do the homework, to present to them. And I think there is a fair amount of support. Again, they can do whatever they want when it gets there, but to trust us in all the work that we're doing here tonight and in reviewing these. And that's why they gave it to us. They did create a subcommittee last year that was supposed to look at the process that never came back with anything. I mean, they were looking at a separate bucket of dollars for booster organizations because they know that there could be an avalanche of those. And I think they are still looking at whether they would like to do something like that, but they have not come back and given us any different direction on that.
I would also like to just reiterate that this last year was the first year that the Parks and Rec department added all the Excel sheets you get, all the rankings that get sent. So all of that gets sent to council now. So they see a lot more than they did in previous years and understand a lot more of how you all ranked things and numbered what's going on. So I think that helped a lot last year in their decision making.
Great, thank you. Thanks, Commissioner Stanek and Rachel. So last question, I'll just leave it with that is, we're going to do a live kind of last time, right? Like we will do the scoring in the meeting on April 1st, correct?
Correct.
Got it. Okay, thank you. That's pretty much.
And thank you for all the clarification. So the next one, we still need to ask for community input. Any comments from community members? If you have anything to say, you have 3 minutes each. Looks like nobody raised hands. Okay, so we back to commissioner's discussion on this item. Looks we asked all the questions and everything is clear. Great job, Rachel. You solved everything. Okay, so we finished agenda item 3. And now it's a monthly update from our director.
Yes, just very quick one for you all tonight. We knew this would be a long meeting, so I just want to give you a couple of quick things. There is still COVID testing happening at the Senior Center. The next date will be on Monday, March 7th, 9:30 to 4:30. And then the mask mandate was was removed as of yesterday, and so signage has been updated at all the buildings. Just want to remind everyone that the county, the Santa Clara County Public Health Department and the California Department of Public Health still strongly recommend that the public continues to wear face coverings in all indoor public spaces. But with that being said, I just kind of want to allude to the fact that we will likely, with this face covering mandate being repealed, come back to in-person meetings in the near future. I don't have a date yet, but I would anticipate in the next couple of months. So I just wanted to get that on your radar as well. As soon as I have any information about an actual date, I will send it to all of you so that you can prepare yourselves. And then the last thing that I kind of wanted to mention about events that are happening for our department. We are hosting the Big Bunny 5K and Kids Fun Run, and that will be on Saturday, April 16th. And it will be at the Civic Center in person. So this is a fun, family-oriented event that has become a tradition in many households and promotes a positive, healthy, and connected community. And so registration for the 5K race and the Kids Fun Run are both available at reg4rec.org. And I'm looking forward to being at this in person for the first time. So anyway, hope all of you can make it. And that's all my updates for tonight.
Okay. Thank you for your short update. So any updates from commissioners? Okay, Commissioner Stanek.
Hi, yes, I did attend the mayor's meeting in February. Most of the updates from the other commissions were pretty much as we've heard. I did update them on our work plan items that we had submitted. And I guess I did want to ask the director if she's heard when the work plan will be reviewed by the council.
I don't have confirmation on the date yet. Although I don't know if Rochelle has confirmation on the date. I think it's tentatively scheduled for next week sometime, March 8th perhaps. But I don't know if that has been confirmed. But we will, I think that if there's a special meeting, the agenda will be published fairly soon. Did that already go out? I'm sorry.
Yes, so
Okay.
it is on the 8th next week at, it looks like 7:45, which seems like a weird time. So that might just be input incorrectly.
Just a side note, there have been 2 items from this week's agenda from the regular city council meeting that have been postponed to or continued to that same meeting date. So there will be 3 items on that agenda. So just to be prepared for that, the budget, the housing element, and then the city work program, I think are the 3 items that will be discussed on the 8th.
Yeah, the mid-year budget. But yes, it is on the 8th confirmed. It's on the city calendar and the agenda is posted.
Okay, yeah, that's all I have.
Okay, are there any more updates from commissioners? Okay. So if there's nothing left, now it's 10:50.
Sorry.
Still more? Okay.
The mayor attendance schedule, maybe I forgot. Would you complete?
I believe March. Is that right, Kevin?
Yes, that's correct. And then after that, Gopal, you're scheduled for April. Did anyone want to volunteer for May since we're talking about it?
I can do the mayor's meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I just want to add one thing to that is that at the last mayor's meeting, Mayor Paul and Vice Mayor Liang Chow was there, and he said she will be taking the mayor's meetings on, I believe, the even month. So he will be there on the odd month, and she will be there on the even month. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, and I think when they re-elect Liang Chao as the vice mayor, they mentioned this year the vice mayor and the mayor, they kind of like cooperate together, not everything decided by the mayor. So this year is a kind of special. I just remember that. Okay. So if there's no more update, now it's 10:51, March 3rd, 2022. And I call this Parks and Recreation meeting to end. And thank you, everyone. And thanks for Rachel and Kevin. You did a lot of work before this meeting and during the meeting. And thank you so much for making everything so smooth.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
everybody.
Thank you
Bye.
guys for staying
Give
awake.
your computer some rest, Rachel. Not for you. Please.
Definitely.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.